Chapter 204. The Little Vermilion Bird Seeking Help. 3. The corner of Mu Li's mouth twitched slightly, and his heart kept skipping. This Shuair is really one of a kind. He was sure they wouldn't be lonely if they had the two of them on the road. Unfortunately, a certain someone would never agree. Damn it. Don't call me Ina. As expected, the mink exploded again. Shall I call you Diawer then? Shuair probed. He knew that his sweetheart had a bad temper. You're courting death, the little silver mink roared furiously. Master, how did I fall for such a fierce mink? Shuair turned to his master with a puzzled expression. This? I can only say that love is blind. There's nothing you can do when you're in love. Huaqing comforted him, but he was laughing in his heart. He hadn't been this happy since the Hua family's incident. Little Mu Zi they can follow if they want. The little silver mink suddenly changed his mind. Huaqing, just you wait. I won't let you go. I'm letting you follow me because I don't want to waste time settling scores with you in the future. Naturally, Huaqing didn't know what was on the mind of a certain vengeful little mink, so he was destined for his tragic future. Thus, the two humans and two beasts set off for the dragon clan together. Meanwhile, Lung Ruoxue and the others were also sitting on Quill's back and heading toward the dragon clan. Grandpa, do dragons really live on the island opposite Carefree Mountain? Lung Ruoxue couldn't help asking. Legend has it that no one has been to Dragon Island before, Lung Qingtian explained. Dragon Island was not a place where humans could go. Spirit beasts with noble bloodlines like dragons and phoenixes despised humans the most. Little girl, the location of Dragon Island has been passed down for thousands of years on the Ling Feng continent. However, dragons have always been isolated from the world and are strong, so no one has been able to verify the authenticity of this legend. Old Man also explained that the locations of Dragon Island and Phoenix Nest only existed in legends. Ruoxue, let's go to the Carefree Mountain to look for them first. If we don't find them, we will find them somewhere else, Lin Liang said comfortingly. He knew that this girl was worried that Feng De would be tortured in the Dragon Clan's place. Alas, they were also worried. But it wouldn't be so easy to find the nests of the two top spirit beasts. Master, there seems to be a little phoenix up ahead, Quill said suddenly. Really? Everyone asked curiously. Right there, Quill said with a look. Everyone looked in the direction of Quill's gaze and saw a little green bird, seemingly panicking, looking back anxiously while flying. This is a little phoenix? Why is it different from what I know? Lin Yuan asked curiously. Wasn't it just a bird? There was nothing special about it. Didn't I ask you to study hard? Lung Qingtian knocked Lin Yuan on the head lightly. This is a vermilion bird, and a very rare wood attribute vermilion bird, Lung Ruoxue explained. The Phoenix clan was a very large race. There were not only birds like phoenixes but also vermilion birds, great arguses, and so on. But the leaders of the Phoenix clan had always been phoenixes because of their numbers, while vermilion birds and great arguses were rarely known. Phoenixes were mostly red and divided into male and female fire phoenixes. There were also a small number of them which were black, blue, and white. The feathers of phoenixes were bright, luxurious, and abnormally beautiful. Vermilion birds and great arguses, on the other hand, might look very similar to phoenixes, but their feathers were not as beautiful as those of phoenixes. This green vermilion bird should still be underage because apart from the phoenix crown on its head, it was not very different from ordinary birds. Little vermilion bird, did you do something bad? Quill blocked the path of the little green bird and teased. No. There are bad people behind me who want to capture me. The little vermilion bird hurriedly explained. His small green eyes darted around, and he suddenly saw Lung Ruoxue, so he threw himself into her arms without a care. Big sister, save me. There are bad people who want to capture this cute Inflame, the vermilion bird, which claimed to be called Inflame, said with a slight sobbing tone as if he had found a backer. Get lost, damn bird. Big sister is mine. Baby, which had been dominating Lung Ruoxue's arms, couldn't take it anymore when he saw someone coming to snatch his big sister away. He immediately roared loudly. Big sister. Inflame looked at Lung Ruoxue pitifully. Tears quickly welled up in his eyes, but they refused to fall. Okay, stop pretending to be pitiful. Tell me, what benefits will I get by helping you? Lung Ruoxue said in a businesslike manner. She just happened to be looking for someone to ask for directions when this vermilion bird came knocking on her door. What do you mean by benefits? Inflame asked, his little face full of question marks. I mean, what will I get if I help you? Lung Ruoxue said with a face full of black lines. I actually want benefits from a bird. I have a lot of chinaberry fruits I can give Big Sister. Inflame's green eyes rolled around, thinking for a long time before he replied reluctantly. Boo-hoo, this was his favorite food. He usually couldn't bear to eat them. I don't need that thing, Lung Ruoxue said speechlessly. She wasn't a phoenix, so how could she be interested in chinaberry fruits? Little vermilion bird, do you know where Dragon Island is? Lung Ruoxue asked directly, in case this vermilion bird thought that she was going to snatch food from him again. Yes. Dragon Island is very close to our phoenix nest. Inflame didn't understand why this big sister was asking about this, but he answered her honestly. Then I'll help you chase away the bad guys, and you tell me the location of Dragon Island, okay? Lung Ruoxue began to negotiate with the little vermilion bird. Big sister, are you going to Dragon Island? Don't go. It's so stinky there. Those stinky dragons are so dirty, and they don't bathe every day, Inflame said disdainfully. Big sister wants to go to Dragon Island to save someone, Lung Ruoxue said with some amusement. It seemed that this little vermilion bird didn't have a good impression of Dragon Island. Oh, then he'll bring Big Sister along, Inflame said proactively. How dare you snatch the spirit beast I want? An angry roar sounded in the ears of Lung Ruoxue and the others. Chapter 205. The Little Vermilion Bird Seeking Help. 4. Big Sister, save me. Inflame ignored Baby and burrowed into Lung Ruoxue's arms to seek protection. Lung Ruoxue looked up with slight displeasure, and her beautiful eyes gently swept over the two people also flying in the air. She laughed in her heart. It's actually them? What a coincidence! Lung Qingtian and the others looked at each other, and the smile on their faces gradually widened. Hee, more fools came knocking on our door to be abused. These two people were part of those spiritual deities. But they would never have imagined that the people they encountered now were the people they were looking for and wanted to get rid of because Lung Ruoxue and the others had changed their appearance. You've only just seen him, and he isn't yours yet. How can you conclude that I snatched him from you? Lung Ruoxue said with a chuckle. Damn girl, hand over that bird if you know what's good for you. Otherwise, you're all dead, the other person threatened. Lung Ruoxue turned her head and said fearfully, Really? Grandpa, he said we're going to die. Hee, I want to see how we die. Old man said nonchalantly with a look of curiosity. I want to know too, Lin Liang echoed. The two of them sang the same song, forming a tacit understanding. You're asking for it. The burly man who spoke earlier roared in anger and directly attacked Lin Liang. Hey, why are you attacking me first? Do I look easy to bully? Lin Liang was depressed and dodged the attack. You won't be so lucky next time. The burly man didn't expect the seemingly ordinary old man to dodge his attack and couldn't help gritting his teeth. Is that so? You can try, Lin Liang provoked. During this time, he had not eaten so many spirit fruits for nothing. Moreover, after staying in Ruoxue's space for so long, his spiritual power had already reached a saturated state, and he was very close to a breakthrough. Damn old man, you're courting death, the burly man roared, his eyes releasing intense killing intent. Seeing that the fight was about to begin, Lung Ruoxue quickly sent the mercenary group into the bracelet and released all the beasts to help. Grandpa Lin, you can do it. Well, cheer you on. Lung Ruoxue said, wanting to see the world in chaos. Her beautiful face was full of anticipation. Come on. Brat Lin, don't embarrass this old man. Old man also hooted. Come on, beat the bad guys to death. Anyone who bullies Inflame is a bad person. Inflame shouted as well. Well, he was really confident with someone supporting him. You heartless people. Do you want me to fight these two by myself? Lin Liang was so angry. Why did I interrupt just now? Wasn't I just finding trouble for myself? Don't worry. I'll help you, Inflame said, thinking that he was being very kind. But he couldn't help thinking that this guy was really pitiful since no one would help him fight at such an old age. Fortunately, Lin Liang couldn't hear Inflame's thoughts. Otherwise, he would be depressed to death. Inflame, you're the best. You all have no conscience. You're worse than a bird. Lin Liang said angrily as he released a wind blade slash at the burly man. Hee hee. After hearing this, Baby couldn't help covering his snickering mouth. Baby, what are you laughing about? Lung Ruoxue was puzzled as she looked at Baby laughing hysterically. What's so funny? Baby jumped onto Lung Ruoxue's shoulder, leaned against her ear, and whispered what he had just heard from the little vermilion bird. Pfft. Lung Ruoxue couldn't help laughing out loud. This little vermilion bird was really too cute. He actually knew how to respect elders. But she believed that if Grandpa Lin knew what the little vermilion bird was thinking, he would definitely be depressed to death. After all, who was willing to admit that they were old? Schwer, what are you laughing about? Lung Qingnun couldn't help asking when he saw his granddaughter laughing so happily. Did something funny happen? Seeing her grandfather's curious expression, Lung Ruoxue told him what Baby had just told her. Lung Qingtan also laughed out loud after hearing this. You guys are too much. Why are you leaving me out of the joke? Old Man complained. With a face full of helplessness, Lung Ruoxue told Old Man's face lit up as he stole glances at Lin Liang. Charm, go help Grandpa Lin. Lung Ruoxue said kindly when she saw that Lin Liang was indeed struggling. Well, she also knew how to respect her elders. Yes, master. Charm and the other beasts were excited after hearing this. Their claws had already been itching while waiting for their master's order. Seeing how eager her beasts were, Lung Ruoxue was at a loss for words. When did my beasts become so violent and aggressive? With the addition of Charm and the other beasts, Lin Liang felt much less pressure. He even gave the main battlefield to Charm and the others while he watched the battle from the side and occasionally launched sneak attacks. His actions made the two spiritual deities so angry that they almost vomited blood. Damn it. Can you not be so despicable? A spiritual deity couldn't help cursing. Teach, why didn't you say you were despicable when you two hit me? Lin Liang said disdainfully. Beat him up. Scratch him. Yes, bite them fiercely. Lin Liang continued to cheer excitedly. At this moment, the two spiritual deities were forced by the beasts to the point where they had nowhere to hide. They could only hop around to avoid the attacks of the beasts. Their bodies were already riddled with wounds, and they were in a sorry state. But the beasts were not in a hurry as they calmly attacked from time to time. It was obvious that they were just teasing the two of them. How dare you bully me? How dare you bully me? Bad guys. Bad guys. Inflame, who had been watching from the side, also dashed forward with his blood boiling. He scratched and pecked at the two spiritual deities. This little thing is actually basking in reflected glory. Lung Ruoxue gently smiled helplessly. Yes, but this little fellow is quite cute. Schwer, our strength will definitely greatly increase if you can contract with a few phoenixes and dragons. That way, we will gain a small foothold even in the upper realm, Lung Qingtian said with an expectant look. Chapter 206, The Dangerous Grief Remedy Forest, 1. Spirit beasts such as phoenixes and dragons were at the top of the hierarchy of spirit beasts in every realm and world. Moreover, they were powerful and were absolutely the best spirit beasts in people's minds. Although the strength of Lung Ruoxue's group was among the best on the Ling Feng continent, they were at the bottom of the hierarchy in the upper realm. Therefore, they could at least protect themselves if they had a few good spirit beasts by their side. Grandpa, spirit beasts with superior aptitudes like phoenixes and dragons look down on humans more than other spirit beasts, so contracting them isn't easy, Lung Ruoxue explained. She had contracted quite a number of spirit beasts now, and the strength of spirit beasts like Charm was definitely not inferior to that of phoenixes and dragons. So if possible, she wanted to help a few people around her contract those spirit beasts. You're right. Grandpa is asking for too much. Lung Qingtian was a little disappointed. Not necessarily. The space of our little girl is very attractive to spirit beasts. As long as she is willing to help, those spirit beasts will definitely rush to her door, Old Man suggested with a smile. Even his spirit beasts were unwilling to return to the spirit beast space after seeing that space, so how could other spirit beasts be an exception? Very reasonable. Shuer, why don't you try it? Lung Qingtian couldn't help looking forward to it again. It would be awesome if he could have a dragon or phoenix as his contract beast. We'll see. Lung Ruoxue said after some thought. It seems like Grandpa really wants a dragon or phoenix. In that case, I have to get one for him even if I have to snatch one. We'll see about what? Lin Liang asked curiously after sitting down beside them. See if we can contract with a few dragons and phoenixes, Lung Ruoxue explained with a light smile. This idea might be crazy, but Grandpa Lin supports you, Lin Liang said excitedly. He would have sneered if anyone else said this, but it was possible since it was Ruoxue. I'm not the one going to contract them. I want to get them for you, Lin Yuan, and the others, Lung Ruoxue said with a very calm expression. Ruoxue, you are so considerate. Grandpa Lin is in need of spirit beasts. Lin Liang exaggeratedly wiped his tears while staring at Lung Ruoxue with shining eyes. Bah! What spirit beast are you lacking? Don't you have any shame? Old Man was the first to shout as he glared at Lin Liang with contempt. Exactly. I've known you for so many years, but why didn't I know you were so thick-skinned until today? I really haven't met a good person. Lung Qingtian said regretfully. Alas. He actually made a bad friend by mistake. You two are obviously jealous of me. I understand. Lin Liang said nonchalantly. People should be thick-skinned when necessary. Tisi. Old Man and Lung Qingtian turned their heads at the same time, ignoring the disrespectful old fellow. Charm jumped onto Lung Ruoxue's shoulder and said, Master, it's done. Well done, Lung Ruoxue praised while caressing Charm's beautiful fluffy fur. Her beasts did things so cleanly and efficiently. They even cleaned up the battlefield. Quill, let's go. Lung Ruoxue patted his head gently. Yes, Master. Little Vermilion Bird, lead the way. Quill turned to the little vermilion bird. Big sister, do you really want to go? Dragon Island stinks, Inflame couldn't help saying with a reluctant expression. Inflame, Big sister has to go. Big sister's friend is on Dragon Island, Lung Ruoxue explained. She had long heard that dragons and phoenixes disliked each other. It seemed to be true. All right, Inflame will bring you there, Inflame said obediently and landed on Lung Ruoxue's other shoulder. Inflame is so well behaved. Lung Ruoxue praised as she caressed the little vermilion bird's head. Hee big sister, your body smells so good. Inflame loves it, Inflame said shyly. You perverted bird, Scram. Baby roared furiously. How dare he tease big sister in front of me? He must be tired of living. Inflame moved closer to Lung Ruoxue and said pitifully, Big sister, he's so fierce. He's bullying Inflame. Inflame, quickly lead the way. Lung Ruoxue said helplessly. Her beasts were fighting for affection almost every day, giving her a headache. Fortunately, they hadn't started physically fighting yet. Big sister, if you want to go to Dragon Island, you have to pass through Grief Remedy Forest first. But that place is very dangerous. Inflame explained. Grief Remedy Forest? Lung Ruoxue asked in bewilderment. Why hadn't she heard of Grief Remedy Forest? Grief Remedy Forest is on the southernmost part of the Ling Feng continent, and there are many poisonous creatures there, Inflame said worriedly. Those poisonous creatures loved humans the most. I think I've read about Grief Remedy Forest in a book. Plants and animals there seem to be poisonous, Old Man suddenly said with a serious face. Poison? I have to go even if Grief Remedy Forest is full of perils. Lung Ruoxue said nonchalantly. In fact, the reason she was so confident was because of the Heaven and Earth bracelet. Otherwise, she really wouldn't dare to risk everyone's lives. Quill, go to Grief Remedy Forest. Lung Ruoxue ordered. Yes, Master, Quill answered and flew toward Grief Remedy Forest. They finally arrived at the Grief Remedy Forest that Inflame spoke of after flying for 3 days. At the entrance to the forest. In Flame, is this the place? Lung Ruashua asked the little vermilion bird, who was munching on a spirit fruit. Yes. It's here. It's very dangerous here. Big sister, you have to be careful. In Flame answered while eating. In Flame, why aren't you afraid of these poisonous creatures since you're from here? Old Man asked shamelessly with a face full of curiosity. Because I have the aura of the Phoenix clan on me, they don't dare to hurt me. But I'm still underage, so I can't protect everyone to walk through this forest safely. In Flame lowered his head shyly, feeling very guilty. Boo! Big sister and the others saved me and treated me so well, but I can't do the same for them. Chapter 207, The Dangerous Grief Remedy Forest, 2. Silly In Flame, Big Sister doesn't care about those poisonous creatures at all. Lung Ruashua knew what was bothering the little vermilion bird once she saw his expression, so she quickly comforted him. Big Sister is so powerful. How can those things be Big Sister's match? In Flame immediately became lively again. Master, shall we enter? Enter. Wait, Big Sister. Don't fly, or you'll be in trouble if you get entangled by the cannibal vines, In Flame suddenly warned. In Flame, it's daytime now. Don't poisonous creatures like to appear at night? Lung Ruashua asked doubtfully. Not entirely. It's just that there will be more at night. Big sister, there are usually very few humans here, so the cannibal vines usually rest during the day. But they will wake up if there is any human smell, In Flame explained. The most wretched thing in the forest during the day was the cannibal vines. Most of the other poisonous creatures basically only appeared at night. Let's enter then. Lung Ruashua said after she exchanged glances with her grandfather and the others and nodded slightly at each other. Big sister, everything here is poisonous, so be careful not to touch anything, In Flame reminded her worriedly. Okay. Lung Ruashua couldn't help finding In Flame's nagging funny. What a worrywart. Lung Ruashua got Lin Yuan and the others to enter the bracelet, leaving only her grandfather, Old Man, Grandpa Lin, Big Brother Fong, Baby, Charm, and Quill with her. 5 humans and 4 beasts walked into Grief Remedy Forest together. After entering the forest, Lung Ruashua found that it was just as In Flame had said. All the plants were poisonous, and even the air here was poisonous. Fortunately, this forest wasn't very large, or she really didn't know when they would be able to walk out of it. Eat this. Lung Ruashua handed each of them a pill after taking a few steps. This pill was a detoxification pill she concocted. It might not be able to cure all poisons, but it would at least make things easier for them. Everyone, including the beasts, threw the pills directly into their mouths. They immediately felt a refreshing sensation, and their breathing became much smoother. Big sister, don't touch it. That's very poisonous. In Flame stopped Lung Ruashua hurriedly when he saw her about to touch an inconspicuous little grass. Big sister knows. Lung Ruashua carefully dug out the blade of grass with her hand. She didn't expect soul-devouring grass to be growing here. This was great. This way, she could upgrade her controlling pills to soul-devouring pills. Big sister is actually okay? In Flame's face was full of curiosity. He didn't even dare to touch that grass, but she was actually fine after touching it. It was really too magical. You perverted bird. Do you really want something to happen to Big Sister? Baby roared angrily. He hated everyone who wanted to compete with him for favor. Big Sister, I didn't mean it that way. In Flame looked at Lung Ruashua aggrievedly. Hee, Big Sister understands In Flame's intentions. Lung Ruashua caressed In Flame's head to console him. That's good. Big sister, why do you want that grass? In Flame was a lot more at ease after hearing Lung Ruaksha's words. But he couldn't help becoming curious again. To concoct pills, Lung Ruashua answered simply while her beautiful watery eyes looked around to see if there were any more herbs. Ruashua, these herbs are all poisonous. Can they be used for alchemy? Lin Liang was puzzled. He had never heard of alchemists using poisonous herbs to concoct pills. Could such pills be consumed? Brat Lin, don't embarrass this old man, okay? Of course, the poisonous herbs will be concocted into poisonous pills. Old Man pursed his lips, his face saying, I don't know this person. Alchemists actually concoct poison. Cold sweat rolled down Lin Liang's back. This was really too terrifying. Grandpa Lin, of course poison is used to deal with enemies. It saves a lot of energy. Fighting and killing are the behavior of barbarians, Lung Ruoxue said with a light smile. She had no choice because she was lazy. That makes sense. Lin Liang thought about it carefully. That's right. Isn't it silly not to use simple methods? But this girl, becoming her enemy will definitely be tragic. Inflame scratched his little head with his small wings in thought and said, Big sister, I know a place with a lot of this kind of grass. Do you want more? Where? Bring Big sister there. Come with me. Inflame flapped his little wings and led the way while Lung Ruoxue and the others followed closely behind. Big sister, this is the place. Inflame brought Lung Ruoxue and the others to the place he knew. So many herbs. Lung Ruoxue exclaimed as she looked at the large meadow in front of her. But they were all poisonous. Besides the soul-devouring grass, there were many other herbs. This place can absolutely be considered a paradise for poisonous herbs. Lung Ruoxue squatted down excitedly and began picking herbs carefully. Swear, Grandpa will help you. Lung Qingtian also bent down, prepared to help. Otherwise, when could she pick all the grass? Grandpa, be careful. These are very poisonous, Lung Ruoxue reminded while harvesting. Miss, let us come out to help out too. Lin Yuan sent a voice transmission from the space. There was strength in numbers. Come out after taking the antidote, Lung Ruoxue said after some thought. Given their current strength, it was very dangerous for Lin Yuan and the others in this forest. After taking the detoxification pills, Lung Ruoxue let Lin Yuan and the group out. With everyone's cooperation, the large patch of grass was finally harvested. Pulling weeds does require strength. Lin Liang collapsed onto the ground, panting from exhaustion. You just realized it. Otherwise, why do you think pills are so expensive? Old Man deliberately provoked. Damn old man, do you feel uncomfortable if you don't quarrel with me? Lin Liang roared. I'll feel uncomfortable all over if I don't bully you, Old Man said without blushing or skipping a beat. Lin Yuan, I'll send you back. It's too dangerous here. Lung Ruoxue looked helplessly at the two people who were fighting like chickens. Chapter 208, The Dangerous Grief Remedy Forest 3, Yes, Mississippi. Everyone be careful too, Lin Yuan reminded. They were too weak, and they still found it difficult to breathe even though they had taken detoxification pills. Let's go. Lung Ruoxue said to Lung Qingtian and the others after she sent Lin Yuan and the others into the bracelet. Everyone nodded and continued forward. Master, there seems to be some sounds coming from over there. Charm pointed to the right of the forest. Big sister, that's the territory of the cannibal vines. The cannibal vines must have caught food again, Inflame explained. He brought her and the others along a very safe route. Poisonous creatures would basically not appear along this path during the day, but other people or beasts might not be so lucky. Quill, take a look at what's going on. Master, it seems to be the Feng family's first elder. Quill said uncertainly after scanning the area with his X-ray vision. There were two people entangled by the vines, but he hadn't seen the other person before. What did you say? Feng Moran was shocked when he heard this. Is the first elder still alive? Let's go take a look. Lung Ruoxue said understandingly. She believed that Quill wouldn't be mistaken. Moreover, the first elder was her ally, so it was reasonable and logical for her to take a look. Big sister. Inflame stood in front of Lung Ruoxue and the others, unwilling to let them go forward. Inflame said, it's okay. You have to trust Big sister, Lung Ruoxue coaxed. This little fellow could really cause a headache when he became stubborn. All right then. But Big sister, don't get too close, Inflame reminded. We will be careful. Let's go. When Lung Ruoxue and the others rushed to the area of the cannibal vines, they saw two people entangled in the vines. One of them was indeed the Feng family's first elder. Even though the cannibal vines were entangling them, they were still trying hard to get rid of them. Broken vines lay scattered all over the ground, and there were patches of black stains on the ground. First Elder and Grandpa. Fong Moran couldn't help exclaiming. He didn't expect the other person to be his grandfather. It's indeed that brat from the Fong family. Old Man frowned. These cannibal vines were indeed troublesome. Two spiritual supremacies were entangled by them and couldn't break free. Shuer, what should we do? Fong Moran looked at Leng Ruoxue in a daze. Even though the Fong family had not been good to him, his hatred for them had long disappeared with their fall. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't worried at all now that he finally saw his only remaining relatives. But he couldn't risk the lives of Shuer and the others. After all, Shuer was the most important to him. Big Brother Fong, don't worry. We have to think of a good plan. Leng Ruoxue comforted him and carefully examined the cannibal vines. Cannibal vines might be called vines, but they were actually large trees. Their branches were made of vines, each as thick as an adult's arm, and would probably be difficult to cut off with ordinary weapons. Moreover, cannibal vines should be spirit beasts of the plant system. But their level was very low, and they had yet to develop intelligence, so they relied on their instincts to hunt. Leng Ruoxue pondered as she looked at the towering tree not far away. If she wasn't mistaken, the cannibal vines in this area should be branches of this tree. So as long as she destroyed this tree, the cannibal vines shouldn't be a threat. Grandpa, Old Man, Grandpa Lin, please attract the cannibal vines' attention. Charm and I will go and save them. Big Brother Fong, stay here. Leng Ruoxue quickly made the arrangements. Okay, Shuer. Be careful, Leng Qingtian reminded worriedly. Shuer, I'll go with you. Fong Moran pulled Leng Ruoxue, who was about to leave, back, his handsome face full of determination. Big Brother Fong, cannibal vines are very troublesome. It will be inconvenient if there are too many people, so wait here and be good. Leng Ruoxue said as if she was coaxing a child. All right, be careful. Fong Moran didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Shuer was treating him like a child. Leng Ruoxue nodded and gave Leng Qingtian and the others a look. The three old men swaggered over to the cannibal vine, swaying back and forth arrogantly. The cannibal vine became excited when it found that more food was coming its way. It hurriedly waved its vines and attacked Leng Qingtian and the others. General Leng, quickly leave this place. The first elder hurriedly reminded Leng Qingtian and the others when he saw them. First elder, stop shouting. Leng Ruoxue quietly crept to the first elder's side and whispered. Ruoxue, what are you doing here? Leave this place quickly, the first elder shouted anxiously. To save you, of course, Leng Ruoxue explained helplessly. Is this old man that shrewd first elder? Why did he become stupid? Ah. The first elder was stunned. He thought that Leng Qingtian and the others had also barged in here by mistake. He didn't dare to think that they had specially come to save them. When he thought of this, a warm current instantly flowed through his heart. All along, he had always thought that he was experienced, knowledgeable, and had seen countless people. But he realized that he only truly saw the fickleness of human nature and the world after experiencing the upheaval of the family. Leng Ruoxue took out her sword and slashed fiercely at the arm-thick vines. The vines binding the first elder were broken off with a bang. Then Leng Ruoxue cut off the vines binding the Fong family patriarch and gave each of them a pill. The two of them took the pills and swallowed them without hesitation. The injuries and spiritual power in their bodies instantly recovered. They looked at Leng Ruoxue with surprise and gratitude. They were about to say something, but Leng Ruoxue stopped them. Leave this place quickly, Leng Ruoxue reminded. Oh, right, the first elder quickly replied. This was indeed not a good place to talk. Grandpa, come back. Leng Ruoxue shook her head when she saw the three people teasing the cannibal vine. She really didn't know what to do with the three old men. It was so dangerous here, but the three of them were having fun. Okay. The three of them retreated reluctantly. Shuer, shouldn't we kill this cannibal vine? Leng Qingtian asked curiously while looking at the shaking vines. This cannibal vine couldn't do anything to the three of them. Moreover, it was raging when it saw that the food it had caught had also disappeared. Chapter 209. The Dangerous Grief Remedy Forest 4. We've rescued them. Let's leave this place quickly, Lung Ruoshua said. She was very kind. There must be a reason why this cannibal vine existed, so she should let it go for the sake of the balance of this forest. Okay, let's leave this place quickly. The first elder agreed with Lung Ruoshua. He didn't want to stay here for another moment. After leaving the territory of the cannibal vines, they found a safe place to rest. Ruoshua, I can't thank you enough for your kindness. Just tell me if you need my help in the future, the first elder said sincerely. If Lung Ruoshua and the others hadn't saved him and the patriarch, their 2 old lives would have been lost here. He really didn't know how to repay this life-saving favor. Thank you for saving us. Our Feng family is willing to follow Miss Lung's lead from now on, Feng Jing, the patriarch of the Feng family, suddenly said. During this long period of fleeing, he had heard Lung Ruoxua's great name often. When he saw her today, she was indeed extraordinary. Hee, you sure know how to plan. Old man let out a mocking chuckle. It wasn't so easy to want to become reliant on their little girl. Feng Jing blushed at old man's sarcasm and was at a loss for words. Hee, our Feng family has always been allies with Ruoshua. Now that the Feng family has fallen, it's only natural that we follow Ruoxua's lead, the first elder said to ease the tension. He was much more tactful and eloquent than Feng Jing, and his skin was also obviously much thicker. Moreover, he was 100% supportive of the patriarch's decision. First elder, what happened to the Feng family? Feng Moran, who had been silent, suddenly asked. Moran, are you and Aaron all right? The first elder asked with concern. We're fine, Feng Moran said quickly while looking at the first elder expectantly. Moran, we were hiding, but we didn't expect your uncle to sell us out. Alas. The Feng family suffered heavy losses, and only the patriarch and I escaped. His heart ached at the thought of the Feng family members who had died. Fortunately, he had sent away a group of people previously to preserve the last bit of the Feng family's bloodline. Moran, you haven't seen the patriarch for many years, right? The first elder pulled Feng Moran to Feng Jing. Grandpa, Feng Moran called out with a trembling voice. He had indeed not seen his grandfather for a long time. He only remembered that his grandfather doted on him a lot when he was young. Moer, you've suffered. Feng Jing looked at his grandson with concern. How is Feng Xiao doing now? Lung Ruoshua asked the first elder curiously when she saw Feng Moran and Feng Jing catching up. Dead. Killed by the patriarch himself, the first elder explained. Ruoshua had warned him before, but he hadn't immediately dealt with Feng Xiao because of the patriarch. Alas, speaking of it, he was also responsible for the Feng family's fall. First elder, does your patriarch love big brother Feng a lot? Lung Ruoshua asked. Yes, he is the eldest grandson after all. Since he loves big brother Feng so much, how could he allow him to be bullied? Lung Ruoshua asked in puzzlement. Was it because of his aptitude? Ruoshua, the patriarch really dotes on Moran. But he went into seclusion more than a decade ago, so the affairs of the Feng family were managed by the second elder and the others. Later on, Feng Xiao became the acting patriarch, and he took care of the affairs of the Feng family. Therefore, the patriarch basically knew nothing about Moran's matter. It's not his fault, the first elder defended the patriarch. Alas, every family had its own difficulties. Even the patriarch wouldn't know everything like the back of his hand if no one told him. Moreover, the patriarch's mind was all on cultivation. After hearing what the first elder said, Lung Ruoshua didn't express her opinion. This was their family matter after all. What could an outsider like her say? Big sister, it's getting dark. Let's leave this place quickly. Inflame urged. There would be many poisonous creatures roaming around here at night. Okay. Lung Ruoshua nodded. After hearing Inflame's words, Lung Ruoshua and the others quickly left. First elder, why are you here? Lung Ruoshua asked while walking. It's all because we were forced to buy those spiritual deities. They were hunting us all the time, so we had no choice but to run into this place. After he and the patriarch ran in, they were a little puzzled as to why those people stopped chasing after them. They only found out about the perilous environment later on. How long have you been here? Lung Ruoxue continued asking. Today is the third day. We didn't dare to venture too deep and could only stay at the edge. The first elder sighed helplessly. At least you still have some brains and know that you can't go in. The farther you go, the more poisonous creatures there will be. That's not something you can handle, Inflame praised. But his words didn't make the first elder happy at all. The first elder looked at the little green bird and felt depressed. Alas, he had lived for so long, but this was the first time a bird remarked that he had some brains. After listening to what Inflame said, Lung Ruoxue looked at the depressed first elder and was overjoyed. Inflame is really a treasure. But now? You don't have to be afraid since I, Inflame, am bringing you around, Inflame continued, his face full of pride. Even though he couldn't deal with those poisonous creatures, bringing them along on some relatively safe routes wasn't a problem. Can this little bird deal with those poisonous creatures? The first elder asked softly. No, he's still underage, Lung Ruoxue said honestly. Then where does he get his confidence from? The first elder was a little speechless. This was the first time he had seen such an arrogant bird. The bird was even more arrogant than his spirit beast. Oh, by the way, Ruoxue, the patriarchs and my spirit beasts are injured. Do you have any way to help? The first elder asked again while looking at Lung Ruoxue expectantly. Are their injuries serious? Lung Ruoxue asked. Chapter 210, The Dangerous Grief Remedy Forest, 5, Very Serious. Alas, they're about to die, the first elder said sadly. Take these for them to eat. Lung Ruoxue thought for a while, took out 2 pills, and handed them to the first elder. Ruoxue, thank you, the first elder said happily, even happier than when his injuries healed. Big sister, we will be able to walk out of this forest in 2 days after tonight, Inflame reminded. Well, after crossing this forest was his home, and he could invite her to his home to play then. Inflame, let's get out of here as soon as possible. Lung Ruoxue said. The sky was getting dark, and the poisonous gas here seemed to be getting more intense. She really didn't like this feeling. Yes, big sister. Don't worry. Inflame will bring you along very safe shortcuts, Inflame promised. Inflame is the best, Lung Ruoxue coaxed and took out a spirit fruit to reward him. Ruoxue, what fruit is that? It smells so good. The first elder, who had just fed his spirit beast the pill, had sharp eyes. He subconsciously swallowed his saliva. Boo-hoo, he hadn't eaten well for 2 days. So hungry. You must be hungry. Here. Lung Ruoxue handed the first elder a piece of dried meat very kindly. I also want to eat fruits, the first elder complained softly as he reluctantly accepted the dry meat. But his eyes were fixed on the fruit Inflame was chewing on. This is mine. Inflame was on high alert. He hugged the fruit, which was about the size of his body, with his little claw and flew behind Lung Ruoxue to hide. You're already so old, yet you still want to snatch food from a bird. Aren't you ashamed? Old man's face was full of disdain and ridicule. He took out a spirit fruit from his ring and deliberately began to eat it in front of the first elder. The first elder looked at Old Man, whose mouth was full of juices, with flames of envy raging in his heart. He clenched his teeth with hatred. Who is this old man? I don't recognize him. Why is this old man always against me? The first elder couldn't understand no matter what. First elder, do you really not want to eat meat? This is holy beast-level python meat. Lung Ruoxue reminded. The deliciousness of this meat jerky was unforgettable. Really? The first elder took a bite doubtfully, but then he wolfed it down quickly. He never knew that dry meat could be so fragrant. Schwer, I think everyone is a little hungry, so why don't we start a fire here and cook dinner? Lung Qingtian suddenly suggested. The terrain here was spacious and flat, and they would be able to spot any poisonous creatures immediately if they appeared. Okay. Lung Ruoxue nodded and began to prepare. Ruoxue, are your meals all so sumptuous? The first elder was a little dumbfounded as he watched Lung Ruoxue take out pots, bowls, and other containers one by one, as well as a large pile of food. How big is this girl's storage ring? It was the first time that the first elder saw someone have these things in their storage ring. You can't abuse your stomach when you're outside. Lung Ruoshua answered as if it was obvious and didn't feel like she was being extravagant at all. This is considered too little. We would be able to eat better food if you weren't here, old man thought. Alas, it seems like we can only spend the night outside. After dinner, they had one person keep watch while the others went to their tents to rest. After a peaceful night, Lung Ruoshua and the others continued the next day. At this time, Mu Li and his group had already arrived at Dragon Island and were guarding the only route to Dragon Island, waiting for the rabbit to come. But after a few days of guarding, the rabbit hadn't come. The mink couldn't help feeling anxious. Little Mu Zi, go take a look. Why aren't they here yet? The silver mink ordered anxiously. Master, don't be anxious. They might be delayed by something, Mu Li quickly comforted. This master's temper had been growing these few days. Ooh, it's so tough on me. Thinking of this, he couldn't help glaring fiercely at Huaqing and the mink who was actively working hard to pursue his master. What could happen? They left before us. We've arrived, but they haven't even shown up, the little silver mink roared furiously. Diaoer, don't be anxious. Anger is harmful to the body. Calm down. Shuaer comforted Diaoer understandingly. Boo! His heart really ached to see Diaoer like this. Scram! The little silver mink kicked the snow mink away. Shuaer rolled on the ground twice before running back with a bashful look on his face. Diaoer, I know you love me, Shuaer said earnestly. His master said that hitting was like kissing, and cursing was like loving. And he had always believed his master's words. Mu Li looked at the obviously sadistic mink and was at a loss for words. Huaqing, you are dead meat. This petty person won't let you go easily. If you dare to call me Diaoer again, I will turn you into a dead mink, the little silver mink threatened with raging flames in his eyes. He really hated his small body now. Boo! Iner, you're so fierce. Shuaer said fearfully, immediately changing the way he addressed his beloved while sneaking glances at his beloved from time to time. Damn it. You're not allowed to call me Iner either. The little silver mink roared furiously. If he would definitely send the man and beast to hell. Then what should I call you? Shuaer's heart was trembling, but he still mustered his courage to ask. Don't call me anything. The little silver mink kicked away Shuaer, who was sticking to him. Oh, okay, Shuaer obediently said and hid far away to peek. The little silver mink was speechless. This snow mink really resembles its master. Master, calm down. Don't be too angry and hurt your body. Mu Li tried to hold back his laughter and tried to console him. This is too funny. Seeing his master's helpless expression and Shuaer's relentless harassment, he almost died from laughter. Chapter 211, Encounter at Sea, Violent Fire Phoenix, 1. Little Mu Zi, just you wait. The little silver mink glared and threatened him. How dare you laugh at me? Go to hell. Master, it has nothing to do with me. Mu Li looked aggrieved and wanted to cry. He knew that it was wrong to laugh at him, but his master shouldn't use his position to take revenge. Anyway, you're dead. The little silver mink turned his little face away and didn't even look at Mu Li. Master, I'll go look for Lung Ruoshua. Mu Li said ingratiatingly, hoping to make up for his mistakes so that his master wouldn't bear a grudge against him anymore. Then what are you waiting for? Hurry up. Master, I'm going. Mu Li quickly disappeared to avoid being implicated by the Master Beast duo. Lung Ruoxua's group walked for 2 days in Grief Remedy Forest and finally left the poisonous forest safely. Ruoxua, where are we going? The first elder asked curiously. To my house, of course. Inflame interrupted. We're going to the Dragon Clan to save someone, Lung Ruoxua explained lightly. The Dragon Clan. The first elder was shocked. Were dragons so easy to provoke? They even wanted to save someone from the Dragon Clan. Bratfong, if you're scared, you can go back the way you came. Old man provoked, gloating a little. The first elder quickly denied. Who said I was afraid? But where is Dragon Island? Can we find it? This little fellow will bring us there. Lung Qingtian pointed at Inflame. Does this little one really know? The first elder glanced doubtfully at the little green bird, somewhat skeptical. Stinky old man, you dare to look down on Inflame? Inflame roared angrily. How dare you look down on a mighty vermilion bird? Unforgivable. Inflame, be good. Hurry and bring Big Sister to Dragon Island. Lung Ruoxue caressed Inflame's head helplessly. It seemed like the Phoenix clan had bad tempers. Such a little fellow actually had such a fiery temper as well. Big Sister, we will reach the territories of the Dragon clan and the Phoenix clan after crossing the sea, Inflame explained as he pointed at the vast sea in front of them. Hearing this, Lung Ruoxue looked up carefully at the rolling blue sea not far away. The sea seemed endless. Let's go! Lung Ruoxue said to everyone. She was burning with anxiety. Schwer, how do we cross the sea? Feng Moran asked curiously. Let Quill fly us over, Lung Ruoxue said after some thought. Normally she might choose to make a ship, but she was now in a hurry to save someone, so she had to use the fastest method. Come on up. Quill immediately enlarged his body and stopped in midair. Quill, let's go. Yes, master. After seeing everyone sitting on him steadily, Quill immediately flapped his wings and flew into the blue sky. Inflame, how far away is it? The first elder couldn't help asking after flying for a day. Inflame won't tell you. Inflame turned his small head away, not looking at the first elder at all. He bore a grudge. The first elder looked away awkwardly. Boo! Ha! Lung Ruoxue and the others couldn't help laughing when they saw this. It also brought some joy to the dull sea flight. Master, there seems to be a situation up ahead, Quill suddenly said with a wary expression. What's the matter? Lung Ruoxue asked doubtfully. It should be sea beasts, Quill explained. Sea beasts? Lung Ruoxue frowned in thought. It would be very troublesome if they really encountered sea beasts. The so-called sea beasts referred to the spirit beasts in the sea. Spirit beasts in the water were different from spirit beasts on the ground. If humans didn't provoke land spirit beasts, most of them would not actively attack humans. But the sea beasts were different. Most sea beasts were barbaric and bloodthirsty, and they would even kill their own kind. Moreover, many sea beasts were amphibious. Big Sister, let's bypass these sea beasts and not provoke them, Inflame reminded. As a member of the Phoenix clan, he knew very well that these sea beasts, which were neighbors of the Phoenix clan, would treat any creature that passed through the sea as food. Lung Ruoxue nodded and asked Quill, Quill, what are the sea beasts doing? Master, the sea beasts should be fighting over territory. Moreover, it's difficult to bypass them without being discovered, Quill said helplessly. The sea in front of them was densely packed with all sorts of sea beasts. Quill, let's take a look. Lung Ruoxue suddenly said. She didn't want to be passive and wait for the sea beasts to finish fighting. Yes, master, Quill answered, but the sea beasts spotted him before he could fly close. Food is here, a sea beast shouted. Immediately, all the sea beasts' eyes, including the two sea beasts fighting, were attracted to Lung Ruoxue and the others. Looks like we've been discovered, Old Man said excitedly, without any fear on his face. Yes, we've been discovered. These sea beasts are all very strong. Lung Qingtian echoed, his face full of eagerness. Lung Ruoxue looked at her grandfather, an old man with a dark face. Do you have to be so excited? Fighting with sea beasts on the sea surface won't give us any advantage. They are really humans. Are we still going to fight? An enormous sea python asked its opponent, a large, fiery red crab. We aren't done yet, but you have ideas about these humans? The fiery red crab said disdainfully. But its peripheral vision was sneaking glances at Lung Ruoxue and the others as well. Kill these humans first. We'll settle our scores later, the sea python suggested and even swallowed its saliva exaggeratedly. I'm not interested in these humans. Go ahead and kill them if you want. The fiery red crab said indifferently. These humans were not to be trifled with. The eagle's level alone was above its own. Moreover, They had a vermilion bird of the Phoenix clan by their side, so it didn't want to provoke the extremely protective lunatics of the Phoenix clan. Chapter 212. Encounter at Sea, Violent Fire Phoenix 2. Coward, the sea python said disdainfully. It knew that this stinky crab didn't dare to provoke the Phoenix clan. But after killing these humans and then getting rid of the crabs afterward, who would know that it was the one who did it? Seems like they're discussing how to eat us. Lung Ruashue said calmly, her face full of anticipation. Little sea snake, don't disappoint me. Master, let's kill all these sea beasts. They're an eyesore. Rise, who was hanging around Lung Ruaksha's wrist, narrowed his eyes in disdain as he stared at the sea python floating in the sea below. A mere reptile actually dared to have any ideas about them. It was really asking for death. That's what I was thinking. Lung Ruashue nodded. She originally wanted to bypass them, but these sea beasts came knocking on her door to court death. She couldn't be blamed. But spirit beasts in the water were very difficult to deal with, and it was impossible for them to enter the water. So what should they do? While Lung Ruashue was thinking of a tactic, the sea pythons had already launched an attack on them. Quill, hold yourself steady. Well, attack, Lung Ruashue said to Quill. Yes, master. Quill carried Lung Ruashue and the others while keeping their bodies steady and avoiding the attacks of the sea pythons. From the sea, water swords were shooting at them one after another as all the sea pythons were attacking. Schwer, what should we do now? Lung Qingtian asked hurriedly after evading a water sword. Due to the numerous sea pythons, they had to dodge continuous water swords one after another. They were too busy evading and had no chance to fight back. Rise, do you have a way to control the mental strength of these sea beasts? Lung Ruashue asked. Master, there are too many of them. There's nothing I can do, Rise said gloomily. He had just said that he wanted to kill all these sea beasts, but he was reduced to such a sorry state by them in the blink of an eye. Ooh, I'm a divine beast. What should we do? Lung Ruashue frowned slightly and pondered. The sea was the world of sea beasts. They had no advantage at all in the sea despite their strength, and these sea beasts were obviously not planning to let them go. Alas, the pressure of the divine beasts wasn't very useful against these sea beasts now. All of you release your might. Lung Ruashue thought for a while and moved all the divine beasts out of the space. She didn't believe that she couldn't scare these sea beasts with so many divine beasts. My king, they have so many divine beasts, a sea python said with a trembling body. Its level was too low. With the might of so many divine beasts, it was a little unbearable even with the resistance of the seawater. What are you afraid of? Even if they have a lot of divine beasts, they can't do anything to us in the sea, the sea python king said nonchalantly. Although it was a level 9 holy beast, the strength that land divine beasts could unleash at sea was at most the same as it, or even inferior to it. Otherwise, why would it be so fearless? Attack now, Lung Ruashue said after exchanging glances with everyone. They would deal with the small ones first and then deal with the biggest one. Everyone and the beasts nodded and launched their strongest attack at the same time. Colorful spiritual powers rained down on the sea beasts, and half of them died in an instant. Humans, I'm going to kill you all? The sea python king let out a strange cry from its mouth after being completely enraged by the death of so many of its subordinates. Master, it's summoning more subordinates. We have to kill it, Rise reminded. Rise, can you kill the sea python king? Lung Ruashue asked curiously. Flood dragons should know how to swim, right? Master, I'm not a water dragon, Rise said, a little ashamed. Ooh, he was a dry duck and hated water the most. Lung Ruashue was also a little dumbfounded. This was the first time she knew that there was a flood dragon that didn't know how to swim. Schwer, what is that? Lung Qingtun suddenly pointed at the colorful light balls shining in the distance. Lung Ruashue looked in the direction her grandfather was pointing and saw the colorful light balls flying over from afar. What is that? Big sister, they're from my clan. They're here to help us. Inflame danced around joyfully with a face full of excitement. The Phoenix clan? Lung Qingtian and the others were surprised. Lung Ruoxue and the others finally saw them clearly when the colorful light balls approached. They were not balls of light at all, but beautiful phoenixes shining with colorful rays of light. No wonder it was said that phoenixes were the most beautiful spirit beasts. They indeed lived up to their reputation. In flame, the leading fire phoenix flew in front of Lung Ruoxue and the others, her face full of concern as she looked at the little green vermilion bird, but her tone was stern. Mother is so fierce. In Flame was so scared that he hurriedly hid behind Lung Ruoxue to seek protection, and he even poked his cute little head out from time to time. Lung Ruoxue looked at In Flame with some amusement, and then she turned her gaze to the incomparably beautiful fire phoenix in front of her. She was really a beautiful bird. Her body was mainly red, and her tail feathers were colorful. Her entire body was burning with fiery red flames, but surrounding the flames were shining colorful lights. Moreover, this bird was a divine beast. I am Fenglinger, In Flame's mother. Thank you for saving In Flame, Fenglinger said gratefully. In Flame had already told her what had happened when he sent her a voice transmission just now. So her attitude toward Lung Ruoxue and the others was very good. I am Lung Ruoxue. They are my family and friends, Lung Ruoxue explained simply. Fenglinger nodded at everyone in a friendly manner before turning her fierce gaze to the sea pythons. How dare you? You even wanted to kill my child. Misunderstanding. Misunderstanding. The sea python king smiled wretchedly as its little heart beat rapidly. Boo-hoo, why am I so unlucky to have provoked this ancestor? But it really couldn't understand how that green vermilion bird could be this violent woman's child. Was it a genetic mutation? 1. In Chinese, Feng means phoenix. Chapter 213, Encounter at Sea, Violent Fire Phoenix. 3. Misunderstanding my ass. So, can killing you also be my misunderstanding? Fenglinger's beautiful phoenix eyes widened as she roared. Grand, I know I was wrong. Please be magnanimous and let me go. The sea python king pleaded. Even though it was a sea beast, it had heard a lot about this formidable beast. It's too late. All of you have to die since you want to kill my child. Fenglinger narrowed her eyes and spat out her southern spirit flame directly at the group of sea pythons. The sea surface immediately became a sea of flames. Except for the sea python king and its subordinates in the flames, the unaffected sea beasts all escaped in fright. This was the only thought in Lung Ruoxue's and the others' minds at this moment. After dealing with the sea pythons, Fenglinger looked at Lung Ruoxue and the others with a smile. Little sister Ruoxue, you saved my child. I would like to invite all of you to be my guests on behalf of the Phoenix clan. Please grant me this honor. Little sister. Lung Ruoxue was dumbfounded. In Flame called her big sister, but this fiery Linger called her little sister. What a mess. Big sister Linger, we are going to the dragon clan to save someone, so, Lung Ruoxue very implicitly wanted to decline, but she didn't want to anger this hospitable bird. Otherwise, they would probably be burned to ashes if she set fire to them. After all, the Phoenix clan's southern spirit flame was equally famous as the dragon clan's dragon breath. Isn't it just those stinky dragons? Don't worry. Big sister will help you, Fenglinger said, taking charge for them. Her father had ordered her to invite them to the clan. Schwer, in that case, let's visit the Phoenix clan first. Lung Qingtian signaled his granddaughter with his eyes. All right, since big sister is so kind, it would be impolite of Ruoxue to decline, Lung Ruoxue said helplessly. She didn't understand why the Phoenix clan, which had always disliked humans, insisted on inviting them as guests. But as the saying went, since they were here, they should take things as they came. Moreover, she wanted to know what the Phoenix clan's motive was. I'll lead the way for you. Fenglinger turned around and flew toward the territory of the Phoenix clan. With the protection of the Phoenix clan, no sea beasts dared to attack them. After flying for half a day, they finally arrived at the Phoenix clan's territory. After returning to the Phoenix clan, Fenglinger immediately transformed into human form and said warmly to Lung Ruoxue, Little sister Ruoxue, Dragon Island isn't far from here. I'll go with you when the time comes. Thank you for your trouble, big sister, Lung Ruoxue said politely while looking at Feng Linger's beautiful human form. What a great beauty! Her beauty was breathtaking, and her dark red eyes were translucent like the most gorgeous rubies. Her figure was hot and enchanting, which suited her personality quite well. Wife. At this moment, a tall, handsome, and noble man walked over. He embraced the fiery Linger and looked at her with affection. We have guests, Feng Linger said shyly, her cheeks blushing. It's okay. You can pretend we don't exist, Lung Ruoxue teased. She was sensible enough to turn away and look around. Phoenix Nest was the territory of the Phoenix clan. Looking around, Lung Ruoxue saw tall and upright sycamore trees with luxuriant branches. She knew that the Phoenix clan lived on sycamore trees. There were nearly 1,000 sycamore trees in front of her, which basically had either a phoenix or a vermilion bird on each tree. Little sister Ruoxue, how is this place? Feng Linger asked. Very good. The fire attribute spiritual power is very dense, Lung Ruoxue said honestly. The Phoenix clan's territory was full of trees, so it was not only very beautiful but also had unusually dense fire attribute spiritual power. It was very suitable to cultivate the fire element here. Yes, this place is very suitable for our Phoenix clan to live in, but, little sister Ruoxue, let me bring you to your lodgings. Feng Linger hesitated and changed the topic. Thank you, big sister. Feng Linger brought Lung Ruoxue and the others to a wooden house. It had a total of 2 floors, just enough for all of them to stay. Little sister Ruoxue, take a rest first. The clan has specially organized a welcome party for everyone tonight, Feng Linger said and then turned and left. Shuer, what do you think the Phoenix clan is up to? Lung Qingtian asked in puzzlement after Feng Linger left. I don't know, but I don't think they mean any harm, Lung Ruoxue said after some thought. On the way here, she had specially observed that the Phoenix clan had many divine beasts. If they wanted to kill them, it would be a piece of cake. There was no need to be so polite to them. Why think so much? We can only come to the Phoenix clan as guests with the help of little girl. Of course, we have to enjoy ourselves, Old Man said nonchalantly. The Phoenix clan and the Dragon clan were the strongest existences on the Ling Feng continent. There was no need to go through so much trouble to kill them, so he wasn't worried at all. Fortunately, the dragons and phoenixes don't have much ambition. Otherwise, the Ling Feng continent would have become their world. Lin Liang sighed. Human powerhouses killed each other every day for that little bit of benefit. Why didn't they cultivate properly? Look at how formidable the Phoenix clan was. There's nothing we can do. There are too many black sheep in the human race. Grandpa, let's all rest for a while. Lung Ruoxue said understandingly. Okay, let's all sleep. Lung Qingtian said to everyone. They had been traveling recently and hadn't slept well. After finding a room, everyone returned to their own rooms. The first thing Lung Ruoxue did after entering the room was to check on Lin Yuan and the others in the Heaven and Earth bracelet. Miss, why did you come in? Lin Yuan was surprised to see Lung Ruoxue. Qing Ju was sealing off the connection between the space and the outside world these few days, so he wasn't very clear about the situation outside. I came in to see you, Lung Ruoxue explained. She had been unable to enter the bracelet for the past few days because of the First Elder and Feng Jing. We are fine. Miss, don't worry, Lin Yuan said quickly. Is Feng Aoran okay? Lung Ruoxue nodded and continued asking. After seeing Feng Jing and the First Elder that day, Feng Aoran had wanted to go out, but she rejected him. Chapter 214. Encounter at Sea, Violent Fire Phoenix, 4. He's okay. We are watching him. How could anything happen to him? Lin Yuan said nonchalantly. Feng Aoran was really too insensible. He only thought about going out to see his relatives, but he didn't think about how he would explain his presence to his family if he really went out. I'll go see him, Lung Ruoxue said helplessly. Alas, it wasn't that she wasn't sympathetic, but she couldn't risk exposing her secret. Although the Feng family was her ally, not all of the Feng family had her trust. Lung Ruoxue went straight to Feng Oren's bamboo house, pushed the door open, and walked in. "Oren," she called out softly. "When can I meet the first elder and grandpa?" asked Feng Oren, who was sitting on the bed with his back facing Lung Ruoxue. "You can meet them after we save Feng De and leave," Lung Ruoxue explained lightly. She knew that Eoren was a little angry at her because of this. With that, Lung Ruoxue left Feng Oren's house and entered the purple bamboo house. Inside the house, Qing Ju was guarding Freak's body. Qing Ju threw himself into Lung Ruoxue's arms and said coquettishly, "Big sister, you're here." "Qing Ju, it's been hard on you." Lung Ruoxue hugged Qing Ju gratefully. She was very touched that Qing Ju had been taking care of Freak's body for her. "Not at all. But big sister, what do you intend to do with Yi Chen's body?" Qing Ju asked curiously. "Does big sister just plan to keep the corpse here?" "I don't know either. Let's leave it here first," Lung Ruoxue said sadly. She really didn't want Freak to leave her, but she also knew that she couldn't keep him by her side forever. Otherwise, her grandfather and the others would be worried to death. "Big sister, who is this person?" Baby asked cautiously while his big blue eyes stared intently at the man on the bed. "He is the person big sister likes," Lung Ruoxue explained, her gentle eyes looking at Freak wrapped in ice on the bed. "Isn't Baby who big sister likes?" Baby asked with raging jealousy, but the expression on his little face was pitiful. "Of course, I like Baby too." Lung Ruoxue coaxed helplessly. "Why is Baby so possessive?" Her head hurt again. "Then why can big sister like others?" Baby pouted unhappily. Baby, that's different." Lung Ruoxue really didn't know how to explain a relationship problem with an underage little beast. "What's different?" Baby didn't understand. He only knew what the feeling like was. "You're still young. You'll know when you grow up." After comforting Baby, Lung Ruoxue said to Qing Ju, "Qing Ju, I'm going out first." When Lung Ruoxue left the Heaven and Earth bracelet and returned to her room, she saw Lung Qingtian and the others waiting for her here. "Grandpa, why aren't you guys resting?" Lung Ruoxue asked curiously. "We were waiting for you." Old Man answered first. "Oh, is anything the matter?" "Ruoxue, what are we going to do about the first elder and Feng Jing?" Lin Liang asked with a bitter face. They didn't dare to enter the space with the two outsiders around. "I don't know either," Lung Ruoxue said helplessly. Of the two, one was Big Brother Feng's grandfather, and the other was the Feng family's first elder. For the sake of Big Brother Feng's face, she couldn't chase them away. Moreover, the Feng family was her ally. Alas, they would talk about it again in the future. "Shuer, send us into your space to rest," Lung Qingtian said. He knew that there was nothing Shuer could do, so he wouldn't ask such a question. "Okay." Lung Ruoxue sent the three old men into space and lay on the bed in her room to have a simple rest. Around dusk, Feng Linger came to look for them. Lung Ruoxue and the others arrived at the main hall of the Phoenix clan with Feng Linger. The hall was built with sycamore wood, and it was for meetings and banquets of the Phoenix clan. Lung Ruoxue and the others felt a rush of fire attribute spiritual power as soon as they entered. Lung Ruoxue looked at the grand hall of the Phoenix clan, which was dazzling in gold and jade, while thinking that she really didn't know who designed this hall to be so similar to human imperial palaces. The only difference was that the pillars and walls of this hall were carved with flying phoenixes. "Miss Leng, are you satisfied with our Phoenix clan's chamber hall?" A handsome young man with an extraordinary demeanor asked with a faint smile on the throne. "Very nice," Lung Ruoxue praised. There were many divine beasts in the Phoenix clan, so it was normal for them to absorb some human thoughts and ideas while traveling the continent. "I am Feng Zhan, the king of the Phoenix clan. Please come in and have a seat." The man on the throne introduced himself and then said very politely, "Little sister Ruoxue, the Phoenix clan doesn't have so many rules. Don't stand on ceremony," Feng Linger said while pulling Lung Ruoxue to sit down. "Okay." Lung Ruoxue nodded after sitting down. If she didn't know that they were divine beasts, she would definitely think that they were humans because the etiquette of these divine beasts was more thorough than some humans. Lung Qingtian and the others nodded at the Phoenix King and sat down next to Lung Ruoxue. but they were all a little nervous. They would be dead meat if the Phoenix clan harbored any ill intentions toward them. On the throne, Feng Zhan carefully observed and took in the expressions of everyone. Then he turned all his attention to Leng Ruoxue. His mind was full of thoughts. Can such a weak woman really be the person in the legend? Soon after everyone sat down, plate after plate of fruits was served. Leng Ruoxue and the others were at a loss for words. We won't be eating these things, right? Miss Ling, I'm really sorry. There isn't much food for humans in our Phoenix clan, so we can only entertain you with these fruits. Feng Zhan was slightly embarrassed. It's okay. We aren't too hungry. It's enough to eat some fruits, Leng Ruoxue lied through her teeth. Chapter 215. Encounter at Sea, Violent Fire Phoenix, 5. In that case, don't stand on ceremony and eat more, Feng Zhan said enthusiastically. Okay. Leng Ruoxue braced herself, picked up a red fruit, and took a bite. Oh, it tastes good, even though it can't match up to my spirit fruits. Little sister Ruoxue, these fruits are the unique phoenix fruits of our Phoenix clan. Only distinguished guests are qualified to eat them. Today, big sister is basking in your glory, Feng Linger said with slight envy. Her father, who was always stingy, really spent a lot today. He actually took out so many at once. You're too kind, Phoenix King, Leng Ruoxue said courteously. She was at a loss for words after hearing what Feng Linger said. Do I have too many good things? Or is life difficult for the Phoenix clan now? The Phoenix clan's banquet was very boring, so apart from eating fruits all the time, Leng Ruoxue and the others would occasionally chat with Feng Zhan or Feng Linger. The other Phoenix clan divine beasts sitting around were all like wood, not saying a word. And their eyes all kept looking at Leng Ruoxue curiously. Leng Ruoxue's hair stood on end, feeling uncomfortable under the gazes of the divine beasts of the Phoenix clan. Moreover, she really couldn't understand what was so good about her. The Phoenix clan had countless handsome men and beautiful women. Miss Leng, what do you think of the men of our Phoenix clan? Feng Zhan suddenly asked. Not bad, Leng Ruoxue answered while breaking out in cold sweat. Why is the Phoenix King asking me about this? What do the good and bad of male phoenixes have to do with me? Miss Leng, are you married? Feng Zhan asked again, his face full of anticipation. Not yet, Leng Ruoxue answered honestly, but her doubts were growing. What exactly does the Phoenix King want? Miss Leng, it's getting late. Rest early. Feng Zhan said after obtaining the answer he wanted to know. Are we getting chased away already? Leng Ruoxue and the others were nervous, and a few drops of cold sweat hung on their foreheads. Then we'll go back to our room first, Leng Ruoxue said to Feng Zhan as she stood up. Grandpa, let's go. Leng Ruoxue turned to her grandfather and the others. Okay. Leng Qingtian and the others stood up and walked directly to their lodging. After they returned to their residence, Leng Ruoxue asked with a face full of question marks, Grandpa, what does the Phoenix King want? Why does it seem like he was going to matchmake you? Leng Qingtian guessed. The strange banquet and muddled conversation confused him. Little girl, give me some meat to eat. I'm starving. Old man directly stretched out his hand in front of Leng Ruoxue in demand. Leng Ruoxue took out some jerky, distributed it to everyone, and took a piece for herself to eat. She was thinking about the simple banquet just now. Well, for beasts, the standards of the banquet should be considered high. Little girl, I think the Phoenix King likes you, old man teased Leng Ruoxue after he finished eating. Damn old man, will you die if you don't speak? Leng Qingtian shouted. What? It's not impossible. Old man continued, ignoring Leng Qingshan's anger. At this moment, someone knocked on the door. Leng Ruoxue opened the door and saw two stunningly beautiful men. What's the matter? Leng Ruoxue asked doubtfully. Miss Leng, the Phoenix King sent us to serve you, one of the beautiful men said shyly. See, I'm right. Old man smiled and rolled his eyes at Leng Qingtian. Please help us convey our thanks to the Phoenix King, but we really don't need to be served, Leng Ruoxue said politely and closed the door. Outside the door. What should we do? A handsome man asked his partner in disappointment. I don't know, the other beautiful man answered helplessly. In the Phoenix King's resting palace. Royal father, what do you need? Feng Linger looked at her beloved father in confusion. Linger, what do you think of Lung Ruoxue? Feng Zhan asked in return, his expression unreadable. I like her a lot. She also saved in flame, Feng Linger answered honestly. She had a good impression of Lung Ruoxue, but she didn't know what her father's intentions were. What if royal father plans to keep her in the Phoenix clan? Feng Zhan probed. Feng Linger was at a loss for words. Does royal father fancy Lung Ruoxue? If she becomes his wife, wouldn't I have to call her mother? She couldn't help but shudder at the thought. Isn't this too terrifying? I call her little sister. Boo! How can I accept my little sister becoming my mother? But her father had been alone for many years, and it was time for him to find a partner. If he really liked little sister Ruoxue, then she could only accept it. But why did he want Feng Lan and Feng Yang to take care of little sister Ruoxue? She was really confused. Feng Linger was incomparably conflicted, and her thoughts began to wander. Royal father, I owe Ruoxue a favor, so I hope she will do it willingly. Feng Linger took a deep breath and advised after thinking for a while. She knew her father's temper very well. If Ruoxue was unwilling, she was afraid that her father would force the issue. Yes, I won't force her, Feng Zhan promised. That's good. Feng Linger was finally at ease after hearing this. But she felt conflicted again when she thought about how she was going to have a stepmother. At the same time, the little silver mink, which had been waiting on the only route to Dragon Island, learned of Lung Ruoxue's whereabouts from Muli, so he rushed to the territory of the Phoenix clan eagerly. Little Muzi, are you sure that she went to the Phoenix clan? The little silver mink asked to confirm. At this point, he couldn't completely believe Mu Li's words because his trustworthiness was really too bad. Master, I guarantee that Lung Ruoxue is definitely in the Phoenix clan. Mu Li raised his hand as if he was swearing an oath. Hurry up then. Stop wasting time. The little silver mink urged anxiously. I want to go home so bad. Swear, I want to see you soon. Boo. I miss you so much. Chapter 216. Encounter at Sea, Violent Fire Phoenix, 6. Just like that, Mu Li flew rapidly in front while Huaqing chased after him. My dear, slow down. I can't catch up. Shu'er, lying on Huaqing's shoulder, yelled, his fluffy little face aggrieved. You're too slow, the little silver mink mocked. Humph, just keep trying to catch up. After flying swiftly for about 2 hours, they finally arrived at the territory of the Phoenix clan. Who dares to trespass on the territory of the Phoenix clan? A red vermilion bird blocked their way. I'm sorry. We're not trespassing. We're here to find someone, Mu Li said sincerely. He didn't want to fight with a bird that could breathe fire. He hated fire. We don't have the person you're looking for here. Leave quickly or don't blame me for being impolite, the vermilion bird said with displeasure. We are here to look for Lung Ruoxue. She's a guest of your Phoenix clan. The little silver mink said anxiously. If I wasn't so small now, I would definitely teach this stinky bird a lesson. Do you know Lung Ruoxue? The vermilion bird asked doubtfully. Of course we do. Hurry and bring us to her, the little silver mink ordered. Lung Ruoxue is a guest of our clan. How can we let you meet just like that? Wait for me. I'll go report it. With that, the vermilion bird flew away. Little Muzi, let's go in directly, the little silver mink said furiously. Damn it. Even though I want to see the bird actually has to report it. Master, there are many divine beasts in the Phoenix clan. We can't deal with them now, so let's wait. Mu Li advised helplessly. Master, bear with it. This isn't our territory. Umph. The little silver mink snorted coldly and turned his little head to the side. Fine, he would bear with it. After receiving the message from the guard, Feng Linger came to the wooden house where Lung Ruoxue and the others were staying and knocked on the door. Lung Ruoxue opened the door and was surprised to see Feng Linger. Big sister, it's so late. Why are you here? Sister Ruoxue, a man claiming to be your friend is looking for you outside. Feng Linger's beautiful face was full of curiosity as she explained to Leng Ruoxue. But she couldn't help muttering in her heart, did a love rival appear so soon? My friend. Leng Ruoxue was puzzled. She frowned slightly and wondered who it could be. No one should know that she came to the Phoenix clan. Little sister Ruoxue, why don't I come with you? If that person isn't your friend, I'll kill him. Anyone who dares to lie to us will die. Feng Linger said fiercely, her beautiful face full of killing intent. Leng Ruoxue was dumbfounded. Big sister, you don't have to be so violent. Leng Ruoxue and Feng Linger arrived at the entrance of the Phoenix clan. From afar, she saw a man with his back facing her, and he seemed to be talking to a small silver mink. Damn it. Why is it taking so long? The little silver mink jumped up and down anxiously, getting impatient from waiting. Master, calm down. Mu Li comforted, his mouth dry from talking. Little Mu Zi, go and ask, the little silver mink ordered with narrowed eyes and a pout. The guard has gone to report. Who do you want me to ask? Mu Li's handsome face was full of helplessness. If he forced his way in, the Phoenix clan's southern spirit flame would definitely burn him to ashes. Boo-hoo, then he really would be going to hell. Suddenly, the little silver mink seemed to sense something and suddenly raised his little head to look at the entrance. Schwer! The little silver mink was excited to see the person he missed so much. He pounced toward Leng Ruoxue without thinking, but just as he was about to pull her into his arms, he felt conflicted and miserable. Boo! My arms and legs are too small to carry her anymore. Boo! So depressing. It's all because of that damn Mu Li. With this in mind, his blue eyes glared at Mu Li with hatred. Not far away, Mu Li saw the little mink's expression and gaze, and his heart skipped a beat. Boo-hoo, he felt aggrieved. How can you blame me for this? Leng Ruoxue, who was getting closer, found it funny. She looked at the little silver mink with a rich expression in front of her. Oh, this little mink is quite interesting. It's happy one moment and depressed the next. Moreover, the aggrieved look in its eyes when it looked at me just now was like that of freak. She couldn't help but laugh when she thought of this. Alas, it seems the poison freak planted in me is pretty deep. I could actually connect a mink with him. Leng Ruoxue bent down and gently hugged the struggling silver mink. Then she looked at the man. Mu Li, why is it you? Mu Li was speechless. How should I explain this? I heard you came to the Phoenix clan, so I came to see you, Mu Li said after some thought. Oh. Leng Ruoxue didn't probe further. Anyway, Mu Li had always been mysterious and unpredictable. Leng Ruoxue turned her head and said to Feng Linger beside her, Big sister, he is my friend. Since you are Ruoxue's friend, you are also a guest of our Phoenix clan, Feng Linger said cordially. Mu Li, is this mink your spirit beast? Leng Ruoxue's beautiful face was slightly curious as she gently caressed the soft fur of the little mink in her arms. No, I intend to give it to you. Mu Li waved his hand frantically. He couldn't afford to take this mink, much dare to want him. Oh, thank you. Leng Ruoxue didn't stand on the ceremony at all. She liked this little mink. It couldn't be helped. Women had always been unable to resist cute little animals. At this moment, the little silver mink, who was being hugged tightly by Leng Ruoxue, was silent. In fact, he was so excited that he was dazed. His eyes were full of bubbles of happiness. Schwer's embrace is so comfortable and soft. I really want to stay in it forever. No, I can't stay like this forever. I still want to embrace Schwer. Boo-hoo, he was conflicted again. Chapter 217, Reunion, Mink vs. Baby, Duel, 1, Little Sister Ruoxue, let's go back. Feng Linger said after confirming they knew each other. Leng Ruoxue nodded. The three of them and the beast were about to head back when another voice sounded behind them. Ruoxue. Huo Qing finally arrived at the territory of the Phoenix clan. But he was obviously having a tough time and panting heavily. When Leng Ruoxue heard someone calling her name, she turned around. Huo Qing, why are you here too? She was surprised to see him. How did Huaqing find the Phoenix clan? I came with them. Huaqing pointed at Mu Li with a resentful look in his eyes. Mu Li was really too unloyal to run so quickly. Lung Ruoxu's inquisitive eyes drifted to Mu Li. After seeing him nod slightly, she turned to Feng Linger. Big sister, he's my friend too. Then let's go together. Feng Linger smiled gently. But the way she looked at Lung Ruoxue was very suggestive, as if she was saying, you have so many friends. Lung Ruoxue ignored Feng Linger's teasing gaze and walked directly toward their residence. Grandpa, Mu Li and Huaqing are here, Lung Ruoxue said to everyone in the room after returning to the wooden house. Oh, where? Lung Qingtian was puzzled. How did these two people come? No one knew that they were here at the Phoenix clan. He couldn't help being on alert. Why aren't you coming in yet? Lung Ruoxue shouted at the two people outside the door. We're coming in, they said in unison, but the sparks in their eyes didn't subside. You two seem to be on good terms. Lung Ruoxue teased softly when she saw the two silently communicating with their eyes. You're mistaken. We're not on good terms. The two of them spoke at the same time and jumped far away from each other at the same time. But their actions were the same, their sparks of anger were the same, and their thoughts were the same. What kind of look is that? They have a very good relationship, the little silver mink, who had been lying in Lung Ruoxu's arms and enjoying her caresses, suddenly said. Just as he finished speaking, Huaqing's voice immediately sounded. Shu'er, come out and take care of your beloved. Huaqing used his trump card and summoned Shu'er, who was in the spirit beast space. What beloved? Suddenly, everyone's thoughts were attracted by Huaqing's suggestive words, and they all looked at him curiously. Shu'er is here. As soon as the snow mink emerged, he dashed toward the little silver mink excitedly. The little silver mink in Lung Ruoxu's arms stretched out his leg and lightly kicked Shu'er away. Immediately afterward, everyone heard a plop as Shu'er rolled onto the ground like a ball. Shu'er rolled on the ground, got up, and patted the dust off his body with his little paw. Then he pounced on the little silver mink again. He was kicked away again, and he got up again and again. This cycle stunned everyone. They wanted to laugh but didn't dare to, for fear of hurting the weak and small heart that was bravely pursuing love. Dear, you really love me so much? Shu'er said stubbornly, his fluffy little face full of bliss. Shu'er's words made everyone, who were already struggling to hold in their laughter, break down. Ha ha. Ha ha. Among them, Old Man was the most exaggerated. He thumped his chest and stamped his feet non-stop, laughing until tears came out. Little Hua, where did you get this superb spirit beast? Old Man asked with a smile. This Shu'er was really too funny, but this spirit was worth learning from. Yes, this mink is really too good. Lin Liang also laughed until his nose was covered in snot and tears. That's right. I haven't laughed so happily in a long time, Leng Qingnan couldn't help adding. He turned his gaze to the angry little silver mink in Shu'er's arms. Where did this little thing come from? Lung Ruoxue raised the little mink in her arms and looked directly at the mink. The flames of anger in the beautiful blue eyes immediately turned warm and mushy. The fluffy little face was extremely shy when facing her. Isn't this little mink changing its face a little too quickly? Lung Ruoxue was at a loss for words. She looked at the silver mink and then at the snow mink. Well, love shouldn't be forced. Your name is Shu'er? Lung Ruoxue bent down with a smile on her face. She tried to soften her voice so as not to scare the little thing. Yes. Shu'er nodded obediently and then stole a glance at Lung Ruoxue. He lowered his head shyly and looked at the ground. Shu'er, do you know? Relationships need to be mutual to be happy, so Lung Ruoxue deliberated over what to say so that she wouldn't hurt this cute little thing. What do you mean by mutual? Shu'er looked up at Lung Ruoxue with a lost expression. You have to like each other, Lung Ruoxue explained weakly. She really didn't understand what the point of discussing relationship issues with a mink was. We are mutual, Shu'er said resolutely. Shu'er, if it likes you, it wouldn't treat you so rudely. Lung Ruoxue didn't expect the mink to be so stubborn, so she had to explain patiently. Hitting is affection. Cursing is love. Therefore my dear loves me, Shuair said with certainty. He had extraordinary confidence in his charm. Thinking back, he was also extraordinary in the snow mink tribe. No female mink could resist his charm. Who told you that hitting is affection and cursing is love? Lung Ruashue was speechless. That bastard actually told a mink this. Isn't this harming the mink too much? Master said so. Shuair betrayed Huaqing without hesitation. You told it? Lung Ruaksha's beautiful eyes glared at Huaqingqing. She was fuming inside. Wasn't that teaching the wrong things to an innocent and cute little animal? Shuair likes that silver mink, and am just encouraging, Huaqing said guiltily. In fact, he was just angry at the little silver mink that didn't treat him well, and he also disliked the mink a little. Chapter 218, Reunion, Mink vs. Baby, Duel, 2, Encourage my ass. Lung Ruashue roared angrily. She would have thrown him out if they weren't in the Phoenix clan. Master, it seems like she loves you very much too. Shuair pointed at Lung Ruashue with a look of realization. Lung Ruashue and Huaqing were embarrassed. Seeing them silent and not knowing what to say, the little silver mink flew into a rage. Shuair will never love him. He dashed at Shuair fiercely and began punching and kicking him. I can't beat your master now, but I can teach you a lesson, the little silver mink complained in his head. Everyone was stunned by this violent scene. How violent! Old man chuckled. The word gloat was clearly written on his wrinkled face. Ah! Lung Ruashue returned to her senses and hurriedly embraced the little silver mink who was baring fangs and brandishing claws to prevent the poor Shuair from being beaten to death. Shuair, are you okay? Lung Ruashue looked at the disheveled Shuair, whose hair had fallen all over the ground and whose body was covered in bloodstains. She looked apologetically and took out a pill to give to him. Shuair took the pill, smelled it, and put it in his mouth. His injuries healed instantly, but the fur that fell couldn't grow immediately, so his current appearance. Poor Shuair. It's all Master's fault. I shouldn't have encouraged you to chase after that barbaric silver mink. Huaqing bent down and embraced Shuair tenderly, his heart full of distress. It's okay. I like lively female minks like this, Shuair said without remorse. He was determined to go down this path. Female mink. Two terrified voices sounded at the same time. One was from Mu Li, and the other was from the little silver mink. What happened to you two? Lung Ruashue looked at the man and the mink suspiciously. Why did they have such a big reaction? The little silver mink stared at Mu Li for a few seconds, then quickly left Lung Ruaksha's arms and ran to a corner where no one could see. He spread his legs and lowered his head. What a relief. Luckily. Huaqing, your Shuair is male? Mu Li asked fearfully with a very strange expression on his face. What's the matter? Huaqing was puzzled, his face full of question marks. Not only him, but everyone present didn't understand what was going on between them. Damn it. A male too. The little silver mink roared furiously after checking his gender and lying back in Lung Ruaksha's arms. His beautiful fur stood on end in anger. Pfft. Everyone was stunned for a moment before laughing out loud again. This is too funny. Old man laughed the most exaggeratedly again, and this time he simply sat directly on the ground. Lung Ruashue didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She looked at the foolish Huaqing and Shuair with pity. Alas, they actually made such a big mistake. Darling, you're lying to me, right? I don't believe you're male. Shuair, who returned to his senses after a long time, couldn't accept this cruel fact. Boo! How can the first mink I fell for be male? My Ina was so beautiful and cute. They said. Shuair, my condolences. You will meet someone you like again in the future. Huaqing quickly comforted the sad Shuair while hating himself in his heart at the same time. He was responsible for Shuair's unrequited love after all. Master, I want to return to the spirit beast space, Shuair said with tears in his eyes. He wanted to find a place where no one could see him and cry properly. Boo, my first love. After the farce, everyone felt a little sleepy and returned to their rooms to rest. Lung Ruoxue returned to her room with the little silver mink in her arms. After placing the little mink on the bed, she also lay down on the bed. The little silver mink occupied Lung Ruoxue's arms unceremoniously. I finally have the chance to share a bed with Xuer. So exciting! Lung Ruoxue was puzzled as she looked at the shy little silver mink, wondering why the way he looked at her seemed so similar to how Freak looked at her. It was so strange, but she didn't think too much about it. Freak was already dead after all. Big sister, I want to come out. Baby sent a voice transmission from the bracelet at this moment. Lung Ruoxue let Baby out. As soon as Baby came out, he dashed into Lung Ruoxue's arms, only to find that his big sister's arms were occupied by a cheap little mink. Get lost. That's my spot. Baby roared domineeringly, wanting to rip this mink into pieces. But after hearing what Baby said, the little silver mink didn't even look up and completely ignored the little black furball baring his fangs and brandishing his claws. No fighting, Lung Ruoxue said softly. Then she closed her eyes and went to sleep. Seeing that his big sister didn't back him up, Baby felt very aggrieved. He laid on Lung Ruoxue's pillow and looked at her with tears in his eyes. The little silver mink opened his eyes and said mockingly, "Stop pretending to be pitiful. Xuer is already asleep." When I was pretending to be pitiful, this little thing was still in some unknown corner. Baby glared at the mink angrily. Why can't I see this annoying fellow's soul? Baby was puzzled. What was even more strange was that he couldn't even see the thoughts in the mink's mind. What's going on? No person or beast, except for Big Sister, can escape my soul search. What about me? I'm your boss from now on, so you have to listen to me, the little silver mink said indifferently with a cold snort. You are only an advanced spirit beast. You actually dared to call yourself a boss in front of this daddy. Baby was furious and roared. He had to defend his rights and uphold his reputation. He couldn't be defeated by this newbie. Otherwise, he would lose face in front of all the spirit beasts in the future. Because I'm Xuer's beloved. The little silver mink looked smug, and his arrogant tail hung in the air. Chapter 219, Reunion, Mink vs. Baby, Duel, 3. I am Big Sister's beloved. Move aside. Baby roared, determined to protect his position. If you are so capable, let's duel. Whoever wins will be the boss from now on. The little silver mink had a devious smile on his face. No one would dare to compete with him for favor in the future as long as he subdued Baby. He really admired this idea. So be it. I'm not afraid of you. Baby couldn't take it anymore. How can an advanced spirit beast be my match? Let's find a quiet place so that we don't wake Xuer up. The little silver mink looked at Lung Ruoxue affectionately. Okay. After the two cute little beasts reached an agreement, they quietly slipped out of the Phoenix clan's territory, found an uninhabited mountain, and began the duel. Wait, let's talk about the rules, the little silver mink suddenly said before the fight began. What rules? Baby was puzzled. Why is this stinky mink so troublesome? No hitting of faces nor pulling of fur, lest Xuer sees through us. The silver mink didn't forget what Xuer said just now. No fighting, no fighting. Okay, no problem. Baby agreed with this rule. He also didn't want his big sister to find out that he had fought with this beast in private. His big sister could be very fierce when she threw a temper. That was scary too. Then let's begin. I won't be polite anymore. The little silver mink dashed in front of Baby and began bashing him. You're playing dirty. I'm not ready yet. Baby shouted as he dodged the little mink's punches and kicks. Nothing is too deceitful in war, understand? Will it still be called a fight if I wait until you are ready? This is commonly known as sneak attack because I want to catch you off guard. The little silver mink boasted shamelessly while his little fist-like claws hammered Baby's chubby body. You're bullying Baby. I'll tell Big Sister, Baby wailed with tears flowing down his face. His chubby body wanted to avoid the punches, but he wasn't very agile because he was a little too fat. A good child doesn't tattle, the little silver mink said coldly as his little fists rained down on Baby. I'm so mad. Baby roared. He took advantage of the time that the little mink stopped to rest since he was tired and released his might. After waiting for a while, Baby was dumbfounded when he saw that he didn't achieve the expected effect. What's going on? The pressure from my might is actually useless against this mink. Don't waste your energy. Other beasts might be afraid of you, but I'm not. The little silver mink glanced at Baby from the side and deliberately dealt a blow. This is impossible. For you? Baby asked in disbelief. After waking up this time, he had obtained the inherited memories of his ancestors. Although they were incomplete, he more or less knew some things. Therefore, he was very clear that such a situation should never happen with his status. You don't have to know who I am. You just have to remember that I will be your boss from now on, the little silver mink said cockily. He found a rock to sit on and crossed his legs. His smug appearance could only be described as arrogant. What? Still haven't had enough? The little silver mink said coldly with a glare. I admit defeat. You are the boss. Baby was very practical. Although he was extremely unwilling to accept the fact that he had to bow down and listen to the little silver mink just because he didn't have the slightest ability to retaliate, he dispelled that thought immediately after hearing the little silver mink. Boo-hoo, he didn't want to be beaten up again. This fellow was too ruthless. The mink actually beat him up until he became even fatter. That's a good boy. There will be meat to eat if you follow Big Brother in the future. The little silver mink caressed Baby's head, very satisfied with his performance. He liked obedient children like this. Big Brother, should we go back? Baby nodded and asked very ingratiatingly, but he was heartbroken. Boo. Ancestors, Baby has embarrassed you. Baby has let you down. Okay, let's go back. The little silver mink nodded. But just as the two beasts were about to leave, a red ray of light flashed past their heads. The little silver mink looked suspiciously at the trace of red light in the night sky. Where is this fire phoenix going in the middle of the night? Baby also looked up. Boss, that fire phoenix seems to be the king of the Phoenix clan, Feng Zhan. Are you sure? The little silver mink asked with a serious expression and squinted eyes. What does this fire phoenix want to do? I won't allow any person or beast to harm Shui. I just saw him tonight. It must be him. Baby hurriedly raised his little paw as if he was swearing to prove that he was telling the truth. Let's follow and take a look, the little silver mink said after some thought. But we don't have wings and can't catch up with him, Baby said gloomily. What do you need wings for? I can catch up to him even without them. But you might not be able to because you're too fat. The little silver mink glanced at Baby with a disdainful expression. Then he transformed into a ray of silver light that chased after the fire phoenix. Wait for me. Baby pouted as his fat and short forelegs chased after him like a ball rolling on the ground. Ugh! The silver light stopped after chasing for some time. Baby didn't manage to stop in time and crashed into the little silver mink. Shoo, don't make a sound. The little silver mink hurriedly covered Baby's mouth, but his blue eyes were tightly glued to the phoenix that was murmuring something. Yes. Baby, whose mouth was covered, nodded and motioned the little mink to let go. After regaining freedom, Baby quietly looked around. Where is this? It was pitch black, and he couldn't see his paws. The only source of light here was the blazing phoenix, shining with rays of colorful light. What's that sound? Suddenly, Baby heard a rustling sound. He was shocked and hurriedly leaned against the little mink. Boo! Baby is very timid. Don't frighten Baby. Chapter 220, Reunion, Mink vs. Baby, Duel, 4. Coward, it's just the wind, the little silver mink said with extreme helplessness and contempt. This was the first time he had seen someone so timid. Baby is really too useless. How can this little thing help Shui? Thinking of this, he began to dislike Baby again. Oh, then it's okay. Baby emboldened himself, but he still stuck close to the little mink. At this moment, an enormous fire phoenix appeared in front of Feng Zhan. The two fire phoenixes were communicating in the unique language of the Phoenix clan. "Little fatty, can you hear what they're saying?" the little silver mink asked Baby while staring at the two fire phoenixes. The little silver mink couldn't hear them at all because they were too far away. "Yes." Baby nodded. Even if he couldn't hear, he could read minds. This was his ability. "Quickly translate it for me," the little silver mink said anxiously. "Okay." Baby translated the conversation between the two fire phoenixes to the little silver mink. After the two fire phoenixes communicated, the enormous fire phoenix disappeared, and Feng Zhan flew away as well. "Little fatty, you did well," the silver mink praised with satisfaction. It felt so good to have a translator with him. He decided that little fatty would be his personal assistant from now on. "Big brother, can you not call me little fatty? My name is Baby." Baby pouted unhappily. How was he fat? He was just a little round. "No." The little silver mink immediately declined Baby's request. "Little fatty, we should go back," the little silver mink continued, but he was laughing in his mind. "Ha, I really admire myself." Baby nodded, and the two beasts quickly crept back into the wooden house. After returning to the room, the little silver mink burrowed directly into Lung Ruox's arms. Baby could only lie in a small corner by the bed aggrievedly. "Boo." The next morning, when Lung Ruoxue woke up, she found Baby looking at her aggrievedly with tears in his eyes. "What happened, Baby?" Lung Ruoxue hugged Baby and said with some heartache. It's only been one night, but Baby seems to have gained weight again. What's going on?" She really couldn't understand. Nothing. Baby just misses big sister." Baby waved his paws repeatedly. "Boo." The boss also woke up and was still secretly staring at him. He didn't dare to complain. "Silly, hasn't big sister always been here?" Lung Ruoxue said with some amusement. "Why does Baby feel so insecure? What a child." "Schwer," the little silver mink called out in dissatisfaction. He burrowed into Lung Ruox's arms and squeezed Baby, this eyesore, to the side. Baby naturally didn't dare to make a sound. "You're not allowed to bully Baby." Lung Ruoxue raised the little silver mink and looked directly into his beautiful blue eyes. She warned him, but she couldn't help sighing in her heart. Baby had always been very overbearing among her beasts, but this little silver mink could actually make Baby so obedient. She really didn't know how he did it. "Schwer, how can you wrong me?" Tears welled up in the little silver mink's eyes and rolled down his fluffy face. Lung Ruoxue was at a loss for words. The more she looked at this little mink, the more she felt that he looked like Freak. This feeling was really too strange. "Schwer, are you awake?" Lung Qingtian called from outside the door. "Yes, I'm awake, Grandpa." Lung Ruoxue quickly put the little mink down, got out of bed, and opened the door for her grandfather. "Grandpa, what's the matter?" Lung Ruoxue asked curiously. Her grandfather usually wouldn't disturb her so early. Lung Qinggan walked into his granddaughter's room, closed the door, and asked bluntly, "Schwer, there are more and more people following us now. What do you plan to do?" "Grandpa, do you have any good ideas?" Lung Ruoxue asked in return with a frown. To be honest, she didn't know what to do either. Grandpa doesn't know either. But I discussed it with Old Man and the others that it would be better if we separated from them. It will be more convenient this way. Lung Qingtian said helplessly. "Let me think about it. Grandpa, I'm going for a walk." Then Lung Ruoxue left the wooden house. Lung Ruoxue held the small silver mink in her arms and had a small black fur ball lay on her shoulder. They left the territory of the Phoenix clan and slowly walked along the seashore. Lung Ruox's heart was in a mess. Too many things had happened one after another recently. Alas! Suddenly, Darling's voice sounded in Lung Ruox's heart. "Master, your cute darling is about to advance." Darling said excitedly from inside the bracelet. He was so happy. After advancing to level 9 Holy Beast, he could finally consume a green spirit pill. Boo! He finally succeeded after being in seclusion for so long. He was so excited. Really? That's great. Lung Ruoxue hurriedly released Darling from the bracelet. As soon as he came out, he pounced on Lung Ruoxue excitedly. "Ow wow!" Darling screamed in pain as he was kicked fiercely. "Where did you come from?" Darling glared at the silver mink that kicked him, his fluffy face full of anger. "I am Schwer's new favorite," the little silver mink announced his status domineeringly, his eyes full of provocation. "Beloved master, Darling looked at Lung Ruoxue aggrievedly for comfort. "Darling, quickly advance." Lung Ruoxue glared at the little mink helplessly. "Why is this little guy more overbearing than baby?" "Okay," Darling replied. He came out to advance, so he couldn't delay the important matter. As for this little mink, he would deal with him slowly after he became a divine beast. "Just advance here." Lung Ruoxue looked around. They were at the seaside, not far from the territory of the Phoenix clan, so it was safe and no one would disturb them. "Okay." Darling returned to his original form and found a large, flat rock to sit cross-legged. After about an hour, Darling broke through the barrier between level 8 and 9. With the descent of heaven and earth laws, he advanced to level 9 Holy Beast. Chapter 221. Breakthrough, Advancement, 1. Beloved Master, I am a level 9 Holy Beast. Darling jumped up and shouted excitedly. He ignored the angry mink and embraced Lung Ruoxue. "Okay, eat this." Lung Ruoxue caressed Darling's soft fur and handed him a green pill. "Thank you, beloved master. Darling is going to become a divine beast." Darling hugged Lung Ruoxue excitedly and spun around several times. He even stole a kiss on her beautiful face. But his sneaky act had utterly infuriated the little silver mink and baby. These two extremely possessive fellows would definitely make life miserable for Darling in the future. "Beloved master, I'm going to advance." Darling reluctantly put down his beloved master and sat back on the large rock. He then ate the green spirit pill and waited quietly. Lung Ruoxue's beautiful eyes were indifferent as she glanced at the peeping eyes in the sea. "They better not act rashly, or I won't mind getting rid of them." It took relatively longer for Darling to advance from level 9 Holy Beast to Divine Beast because he advanced 2 ranks in a row. After they waited for about 6 hours, the spiritual energy between heaven and earth became increasingly dense and flowed steadily toward Darling's body. Sitting cross-legged, Darling instinctively absorbed the rich heaven and earth spiritual energy until he felt that the spiritual energy within his body had reached saturation and could no longer absorb any more. He then poured all his energy into attacking the barrier to becoming a divine beast. After a while, heaven and earth laws descended on this uninhabited sea once again. The stream of heaven and earth laws that descended this time was obviously much larger and took longer than the previous time. After the heaven and earth laws slowly disappeared, Darling finally completed his advancement. "Beloved master." After advancing, Darling immediately transformed and walked toward Lung Ruoxue. Lung Ruoxue looked at the stunningly beautiful man with boundless charm in front of her. She couldn't help admiring him in her heart. He is really too pleasing to the eye. Darling had transformed into a drop-dead gorgeous man. He was tall, had beautiful purple hair resembling purple orchids, and had dazzling silver eyes similar to stars shining with enchanting light. His temperament was noble and extraordinary, and every move he made was full of the demeanor of a king. "Beloved master, do you like Darling's current form?" Darling asked shyly and a little nervously, his starry silver eyes full of anticipation. "Like," Lung Ruoxue said unabashedly. Who wouldn't like such an attractive and beautiful man? Just looking at him made her feel pleased. Darling knew that my beloved master would definitely like it. A little smug, Darling stretched out his long arms and hugged Lung Ruoxue tightly. "Eha!" A cry of pain immediately rang out. Darling held his beautiful face and angrily looked at the little silver mink. "Damn it. He kicked me just now, and now he's actually scratching my face with his claws. Boo! I'm now disfigured." After scratching Darling, the little silver mink proudly showed his sharp little claws and looked provocatively at the fox in human form. "How dare you hug my woman after becoming a human? You're really courting death." Lung Ruoxue's face darkened. She looked speechlessly at the little silver mink and then at Darling, who was covering his face. She asked with concern, "Darling, how is it?" "Beloved master, your darling's face is disfigured." Darling said aggrievedly, tears rolling in his silver eyes but not falling. "No, it won't. Let me see." Lung Ruoxue comforted him and removed Darling's hand covering his face. Really ruthless. There were 5 deep claw marks on Darling's face, and blood was flowing out from the wounds nonstop. "Take this." Lung Ruoxue took out a pill and stuffed it into Darling's mouth. The injuries on his face immediately healed, but the 5 claw marks were still on his originally stunning face. "And this?" Lung Ruoxue took out a bottle of crystal honey and handed it to Darling. "Beloved master, boo-hoo, don't cry. Your face will recover within 3 days at most," Lung Ruoxue hurriedly consoled. At the same time, she glared fiercely at the little silver mink. "How can you be so ruthless? Schwer." The little silver mink looked at Lung Ruoxue aggrievedly. "Boo. I'm just jealous that Stinky Fox actually dared to hug you. Let's go back." Lung Ruoxue said to Darling, completely ignoring the little mink. "Okay." Darling nodded obediently and looked at the little silver mink with some pride. "How dare you scratch me in front of Master? You only have yourself to blame for Master not caring about you." Lung Ruoxue brought Darling and the 2 little beasts back to the wooden house. "Schwer, who is he?" Lung Qingtian, sitting in the living room, couldn't help asking curiously when he saw Schwer bringing another man back. "Master's grandfather, Darling." Darling interrupted Lung Ruoxue before she could answer. "Your Darling? You've become a divine beast." Lung Qingtian said in pleasant surprise. Darling also advanced to divine beast. This was great. Their strength increased again. "Yes, Master's grandfather." Darling was excited too. "But what happened to your face?" Lung Qingtian looked at Darling with pity. How could a stunningly beautiful man be disfigured? "My face, Grandpa, I plan to enter seclusion for a few days," Lung Ruoxue suddenly interrupted them. When Darling advanced just now, she had gained a lot of benefits and was already showing signs of breaking through. She wanted to strike while the iron was hot to see if she could break through. "You're going into seclusion at this time? What if someone from the Phoenix clan looks for you?" Lung Qingtian asked. He didn't believe that the Phoenix clan really just invited them as guests. "I shouldn't be in seclusion for too long. If the Phoenix King wants to see me, ask him to wait," Lung Ruoxue said after some thought. She hadn't had a breakthrough in a long time. This was a rare opportunity that she didn't want to miss. "Okay, then go into seclusion at ease," Lung Qingtian hurriedly urged. He knew that his granddaughter must have gained something from the advancement of Darling. Otherwise, she wouldn't have chosen this time to enter seclusion. Schwer's advancement was a huge deal. It couldn't be delayed. Chapter 222, Breakthrough, Advancement, 2, Lung Ruoxue nodded. She returned to her room and directly entered the Heaven and Earth bracelet. Of course, she also brought Darling, Baby, and the little silver mink along with her. "Qingju, I'll leave them to you. Don't let them fight," Lung Ruoxue said to Qingju while also warning the 3 beasts. "Big sister, don't worry. They won't be able to fight with me around," Qingju promised as he looked at the 3 seemingly well-behaved beasts. "Big sister is going into seclusion. Don't let anyone disturb me for the next few days," Lung Ruoxue ordered and walked straight toward the purple bamboo house. "Did you hear what Big Sister said? Be good, or I'll have to lock you up," Qingju warned. Then he ignored them and ran along to take care of his herbs. "Schwer!" The little silver mink lay on the ground, crying out softly in dejection. More tears welled up in his eyes. "Boo! Schwer is really angry with me. He felt so wronged. Boo! I hate my small body." In fact, he also wanted to pull Schwer into his arms, but he couldn't do it now. Boo! In the purple bamboo house, Lung Ruoxue was completely unaware of the little mink's conflicted thoughts. Right now, she was fully focused on breaking through. The heaven-defying art had a total of 9 levels. She had broken through the first level with the help of her master, and she had only cultivated to the second level now. But she really hadn't expected the second level of the heaven-defying art to be so difficult. The amount of spiritual power required to break through was unimaginable. After accumulating for a period of time, the spiritual power in her body was almost saturated. With Darling's advancement just now, she had vaguely touched the edge of a breakthrough. Therefore, she believed that she should be able to break through in a few days. To be honest, she had been waiting for this day for a long time. Otherwise, she would have been able to advance to spiritual supremacy a long time ago with the amount of spiritual power in her body. But her current cultivation was mainly based on the heaven-defying art. If she couldn't break through in the heaven-defying art, she wouldn't be able to advance to spiritual supremacy. Alas, this was probably the overbearing nature of high-level cultivation techniques. Lung Ruoxue sat cross-legged and gathered all the spiritual power in her body to her dantian. She quietly circulated the heaven-defying art in her heart. Now she could only wait. After an unknown period of time, the spiritual power in Lung Ruoxue's body suddenly became restless. Immediately after, it started flowing crazily along the meridians in her body. Moreover, the spiritual power was very disorderly and was running around everywhere. At this moment, Lung Ruoxue had an abnormally painful expression on her face. Her forehead was covered with cold sweat, and her face was slightly pale. Slowly, as the spiritual power in her body became more and more orderly, her expression gradually returned to calmness. After a long time, the spiritual power that seemed to be guided by someone began to concentrate in one direction. The originally massive amount of spiritual power gathered and became smaller and smaller until it condensed into a liquid sphere the size of a baby's fist. The liquid sphere of spiritual power slowly circulated along the meridians of her body. At first, the circulation was very slow. Gradually, it became faster and faster. After several cycles, the liquid sphere of spiritual power crashed violently against the barrier that prevented her breakthrough again and again. After countless collisions, the barrier that had become as thin as a cicada's wing shattered with a bang. Lung Ruoxue's heaven-defying art finally broke through the second level and entered the third level. After her breakthrough, Lung Ruoxue was in no hurry to get up. Instead, she continued to sit on the spot and absorb the rich spiritual power in the space. After entering the third level of the heaven-defying art, the massive amount of spiritual power stored in her body instantly emptied. Her body became like a bottomless pit again and began to absorb the spiritual power of the outside world frantically. After her spiritual power was almost restored twice over from before, Lung Ruoxue stopped absorbing and left the purple bamboo house. Schwer! The little silver mink, who had been guarding outside the purple bamboo house, rushed into Lung Ruoxue's arms when he saw her. Why was he so passionate? I only went into seclusion for a few days, right? Lung Ruoxue looked at the little mink lying in her arms and unwilling to get up. Did this little guy make a mistake again? What's the matter? Lung Ruoxue raised the little mink with both hands and looked into his eyes. Schwer, I missed you so much. Don't be mad at me anymore, okay? The little silver mink begged as tears welled up in his eyes. Okay, but you can't be so barbaric anymore. Lung Ruoxue's heart softened as she looked at the little mink's pitiful appearance and reminded him. Yes, yes. The little silver mink nodded repeatedly, but he was thinking that he would never teach Schwer spirit beasts a lesson in front of her again in his heart. That's more like it. Lung Ruoxue caressed the little mink's soft fur. Big sister, quickly unlock my seal. Qing Ju said impatiently as he stood in front of Lung Ruoxue. Every time she broke through, she would unlock another level of the seal of the Heaven and Earth bracelet, and he could recover another ability. All right. Lung Ruoxue began unlocking the Heaven and Earth bracelet seal. Qing Ju, what ability did you obtain this time? Lung Ruoxue asked curiously. Big sister, Qing Ju won't tell you first. You'll know later. Qing Ju smiled mysteriously and kept her guessing. You've become a bad apple, little fellow. Lung Ruoxue pretended to be displeased. Seeing Qing Ju being so smug, she couldn't help stretching out her fingers to pinch his soft little face gently. Wow, it feels really good. Big sister. Qing Ju looked at Lung Ruoxue aggrievedly. Alright, big sister will go out first. I won't fool around with you anymore. Lung Ruoxue smiled gently. She was really afraid that her grandfather and the others would get anxious if she didn't go out now. Moreover, she still had to find a place to advance to spiritual supremacy. After speaking, Lung Ruoxue left the heaven and earth bracelet and went directly to the living room, where everyone happened to be. Shuer, you're finally out. Lung Qingtian finally felt relieved when he saw her. Grandpa, what's wrong? Did something happen? Lung Ruoxue asked with a puzzled expression. She had only been in seclusion for a few days, right? Why did her grandfather look so anxious? Chapter 223, Breakthrough, Advancement, 3. Little girl, you've been in seclusion for 5 days. How was it? Did you break through? Old man asked with concern. Yes, I can advance now. Lung Ruoxue nodded. That's good. After hearing this, Lung Qingtian and the others were relieved. What happened to you? Lung Ruoxue looked at their troubled expressions and became a little nervous. Did something really happen? Was it Fengda? Don't be nervous. It's nothing. It's just that Feng Linger has been looking for you every day for the past few days, but she didn't tell us why. That's why we're a little worried, Lung Qingdan explained while wiping the cold sweat off his forehead. It seemed that their nervousness scared Shui. Lung Ruoxue sighed in relief and complained, Grandpa, you guys can't scare me like this. Hee hee, little girl, we were just worried about you, Old Man said somewhat embarrassedly. By the way, little girl, did anything happen in your space after you broke through? Old Man whispered curiously into Lung Ruoxue's ear. Alas, he really wanted to go in and take a look. Unfortunately, it wasn't convenient now. He'll bring you in to take a look later and you'll know, Lung Ruoxue said mysteriously but was sweating profusely in her heart. In fact, she was afraid that her grandfather and the others would be anxious, so she directly ran out without observing. I haven't been there for a long time. I was just missing it. Old Man was excited. The space was really a good place. But what was more magical was that every time Shuer broke through, the space would change as well. He was really looking forward to it. Lung Ruoxue shot a look at her grandfather and the others, and the old men tacitly found an excuse to leave the living room. However, they didn't return to their rooms but slipped directly into Shuer's room. After a while, Lung Ruoxue also returned and sent the 3 anxious old men into the heaven and earth bracelet. Wow, little girl, the area here has become bigger again, Old Man said with surprise. The spiritual energy was also more intense and was even showing signs of liquefying. This is really too unbelievable. Not only that, after Big Sister broke through, 2 more fields appeared, and I can plant even more things now. Qing Ju's beautiful little face was full of pride as he constantly thought about what to plant. Qing Ju, you are an artifact spirit. Why are you so passionate about farming? Lung Ruoxue was a little speechless. She really couldn't understand. Moreover, it seemed like having 2 more fields actually made Qing Ju happier than unlocking the seal. Big sister, although I am an artifact spirit, planting is also my talent. Qing Ju said endlessly. He only had 3 original abilities and planting was one of them. During the years he was sealed, he had relied on planting to pass the time. Therefore, planting had already become an indispensable joy for him. Farming is good. If Qing Ju didn't take care of all the fields, how could we have so much delicious food? Lung Qingtian praised with a smile, not thinking that Qing Ju was wasting his talents at all. Grandpa understands me, Qing Ju echoed. In that case, quickly go and plant your fields. Big sister is going to advance, Lung Ruoxue said helplessly. Alas, these old men would spoil Qing Ju sooner or later. After leaving the heaven and earth bracelet and then the wooden house, Lung Ruoxue deliberately found a remote place to advance. This should do, right? Lung Ruoxue murmured to herself. This place was very far from the Phoenix clan's territory, and there were mountains all around it, so no one should notice. In fact, she didn't want others to know that she had so many beasts. Lung Ruoxue released all her beasts from her space. Immediately, thousands of beasts crowded the entire mountain stream. I am about to advance. Prepare yourselves, Lung Ruoxue said to the beasts, but her eyes were on the little silver mink. Oh, I've yet to contract with this little thing. Little thing, we have yet to establish a contract, right? Lung Ruoxue asked the little mink. Shuer, you advance first. We can't contract now. The little silver mink's eyes darkened. I don't want to become Shuer's contract beast. Boo. Okay then. Lung Ruoxue didn't want to make things difficult for the little mink, nor did she ask him why, because a voice in her heart kept telling her that this little mink would not hurt her. Lung Ruoxue randomly found a place to sit cross-legged, and then she mobilized the spiritual power in her body to break through the barrier to becoming a spiritual supremacy. After a while, heaven and earth laws descended on the mountain stream and shrouded Lung Ruoxue. She absorbed the heaven and earth laws without any qualms. It was a reward bestowed upon the cultivator. After a long while, the heaven and earth laws slowly dissipated, and she completed her advancement and became a spiritual supremacy. Immediately after, heaven and earth laws descended once again. After their master, Lung Ruoxue, advanced, her beasts also began to advance one after another. Dazzling lights flashed in the mountain stream for a long time. Except for a few that were already divine beasts, all the silver wolves advanced. The one who advanced the most advanced 3 levels. The Silver Wolf King directly advanced to a level 9 holy beast. This was a pleasant surprise for Lung Ruoxue. Silver Wings advanced directly to divine beast. Lung Ruoxue looked at the majestic Silver Wolf King. Yes, master. Silver Wings began to wait after eating a green spirit pill. Several hours later, heaven and earth laws finally descended, and Silver Wings officially advanced to divine beast. Lung Ruoxue's divine beasts expanded in numbers again. Even in human form, Silver Wings still fit his identity as the Silver Wolf King well. He had a tall and robust body, cold and handsome facial features, flowing silver hair, chilling and intimidating silver eyes, and the temperament of a king. This was the true king of the wolves. After her beasts advanced, Lung Ruoxue sent them all back into the heaven and earth bracelet. She then strolled back to the Phoenix clan's territory with the little silver mink in her arms. Little sister Ruoxue, you're finally back. Feng Linger was waiting anxiously for Lung Ruoxue at the entrance of the Phoenix clan's territory. Chapter 224. The Way to Bring Freak Back to Life 1. Big sister, are you looking for me? Lung Ruoxue looked at Feng Linger doubtfully. Little sister Ruoxue, royal father wants to see you, Feng Linger said anxiously. Oh, what is it? Lung Ruoxue was surprised. Is Feng Zhan finally going to reveal his purpose? I'm not sure either. Royal father refuses to tell me, Feng Linger said helplessly. This was why she was so anxious. Then take me to see the Phoenix King, big sister. Lung Ruoxue frowned slightly. Feng Zhan was really mysterious. He didn't even tell his daughter. Okay, let's go. Feng Linger pulled Lung Ruoxue toward the Phoenix King's resting palace. Royal father, little sister Ruoxue is here, Feng Linger whispered outside the palace when they arrived at the entrance. Let Miss Lung in. The Phoenix King's elegant voice came from outside. Little sister Ruoxue, go in by yourself. Big sister won't accompany you, Feng Linger said meaningfully. Her father wanted to see Ruoxue, so she wouldn't be a third wheel. Okay. Lung Ruoxue pushed open the palace door and walked in directly. The Phoenix King's resting palace looked like an enormous sycamore tree from the outside, but it was a completely different world inside. After entering the Phoenix King's resting palace, Lung Ruoxue looked up slightly. The decorations here were very similar to a human's room. It was mainly red with a golden background, and there were many phoenix totems on the walls and pillars. Miss Lung. Feng Zhan walked out of the inner room and blocked Lung Ruoxue with his tall body. Hello, Phoenix King, Lung Ruoxue greeted politely. Miss Lung, you broke through. Congratulations. Feng Zhan's dark red phoenix eyes sized Lung Ruoxue up. Lung Ruoxue nodded slightly and then asked, "May I ask why you are looking for Ruoxue, Phoenix King?" "Miss Lung, please sit. I'll tell you a story." Feng Zhan pointed at a chair not far away. "Tell me a story?" Lung Ruoxue sat down in the chair and looked at Feng Zhan in bewilderment. She couldn't help wondering what the Phoenix King was up to. Did he look for her so frantically just to tell her a story? Yes, a very important story. Feng Zhan sighed softly and helplessly. "Oh, please start then, Phoenix King," Lung Ruoxue said impatiently. She was not very interested in the Phoenix King's story, but she very much wanted to know Feng Zhan's purpose. "It seems like Miss Lung is still an impatient person," Feng Zhan teased with a smile. "Yes, my companion is still with the Dragon Clan. I'm very worried," Lung Ruoxue explained. What she implied was that he should quickly tell her his purpose. After that, she would go and save someone. "Don't worry, Miss Lung. Your friend's life is not in danger in the Dragon Clan," Feng Zhan said with confidence, his face full of mystery. "I'm afraid he will be tortured," Lung Ruoxue said. Of course, she knew that Feng Da's life wouldn't be in danger. After all, Feng Da had a dragon as his contract beast. If the Dragon Clan wanted to kill Feng Da, it was equivalent to killing one of their own. This wasn't something the Dragon Clan, who claimed to be the most united, would do. "I'm afraid physical pain is unavoidable," Feng Zhan said honestly. "So, Phoenix King, just tell me directly." "Stop keeping me in suspense," Lung Ruoxue said a little impatiently. "Alright. Actually, I hope Miss Ling can stay in the Phoenix Clan," Feng Zhan said, shocking her. "What?" Lung Ruoxue asked uncertainly. Did I hear right?" "I hope Miss Ling can stay with us," Feng Zhan repeated patiently, his dark red phoenix eyes full of anticipation. "I'm sorry, but that's unlikely. I still have important things to do. I can't stay in the same place forever," Lung Ruoxue explained implicitly. Although she didn't know why the Phoenix King said that, she didn't want to anger Feng Zhan, lest he destroyed all of them in a fit of anger. "Miss Ling, if you are willing to stay in the Phoenix Clan, you will be the king of the Phoenix Clan from now on, and you can choose any handsome man in our Phoenix Clan." Feng Zhan threw out a big bait. He believed that no one could refuse such a generous offer. Lung Ruoxue's face darkened, and she was at a loss for words. What does the Phoenix King mean? I can choose any handsome man I want? Do I look like a pervert? The little silver mink, who had been acting as a pet in Lung Ruoxue's arms, heard what Feng Zhan said and hated him. Damn it. He could understand wanting to keep Schwerer in the Phoenix Clan, but he couldn't tolerate the idea of giving her a man of the Phoenix Clan. "Schwerer can only be mine. What do you think, Miss Lung?" Feng Zhan couldn't help asking when he saw Lung Ruoxue not responding for a long time. "I appreciate your kindness, Phoenix King. But I really can't stay in the Phoenix Clan. As for the handsome man, I think I should leave him to the women of the Phoenix Clan." Lung Ruoxue replied after choosing her words carefully for some time. "Miss Lung, don't make your decision too hastily. Let me finish telling you the story." Feng Zhan said leisurely and sighed softly. At first, he thought that his bait would be enough to attract Lung Ruoxue, but she unexpectedly remained unmoved. He had no choice but to tell her honestly in hopes of convincing her. To be honest, he really didn't want to tell anyone about it if possible. After all, it was considered a humiliation to the Phoenix Clan. "Pray tell, Phoenix King," Lung Ruoxue urged. "Miss Ling, actually, our Phoenix Clan doesn't belong to this world. There are many spirit beasts in this world that didn't once belong here. We came from an extremely distant place. That place is a holy land that all humans and beasts have yearned for a long time," Feng Zhan said softly, as if he had fallen into a trance, lost in his memories. "Then why are you here?" Lung Ruoxue didn't deny that the Phoenix King's words piqued her curiosity. "Seems like Feng Zhan really has a secret. That's because our Phoenix Clan, the Dragon Clan, and even other beasts were exiled here after a great war 100,000 years ago," Feng Zhan explained with deep pain in his eyes. Chapter 225. The Way to Bring Freak Back to Life. 2. Exiled. Lung Ruoxue was puzzled. Only criminals would be exiled, right? Did the Dragon and Phoenix clans of the Ling Feng continent commit crimes? There was a traitor in the Phoenix clan, and the Phoenix King bloodline was exiled. I was only an egg when I was sent to this world. Back then, the Phoenix King was sealed, and the clan members who supported him were all exiled to various worlds. I was the youngest son of the Phoenix King, and after I was born, the clan members of this world supported me to become king. We live in this world. However, not only are our strengths limited, but we are also unable to ascend to the upper realm. However, the high priest of the Phoenix clan once prophesied that our Phoenix clan will have a new master, and she will also be the savior of our Phoenix clan. You are our new master, Feng Zhan explained. Are you sure? Lung Ruoxue asked lightly, but she kept communicating with Qing Ju in her heart. Qing Ju, do you know about the Great War 100,000 years ago? Lung Ruoxue asked curiously. Big sister, the Great War 100,000 years ago should be referring to the time Old Master died, Qing Ju said sadly. Old Master has been dead for 100,000 years. Boo. In that case, it's possible that this Phoenix King was from the same world as Master? Lung Ruoxue couldn't be sure if what Feng Zhan said was true. The Phoenix clan is a very large race and was very powerful in the world where Old Master was. They were one of the 4 kings under the Beast God. But I'm not sure as to whether or not there was a traitor among the Phoenix clan, Qing Ju said after carefully recalling. Qing Ju, do you think the Phoenix King's words are trustworthy? Lung Ruoxue asked. The Phoenix King should be telling the truth, Qing Ju said after tilting his head in thought for a while. Okay. Lung Ruoxue severed the connection after communicating with Qing Ju in her head. The high priest once said that a woman would save our Phoenix clan. Feng Zhan looked at Lung Ruoxue and nodded with certainty. Phoenix King, there are many women in this world. Are you sure that it's me? Lung Ruoxue asked coldly. Miss Lung, there are indeed many women in the world, but not all of them can come to the Phoenix clan. Feng Zhan smiled mysteriously. Phoenix King, stop keeping me in suspense. I won't agree unless you tell me clearly, Lung Ruoxue said coldly. She didn't want to be used by others. Miss Lung, I'm telling the truth. The new master mentioned in the high priest's prophecy is indeed you. Feng Zhan said with certainty. Many people don't know why the Phoenix clan and the Dragon clan rarely travel on the Ling Feng continent. Does Miss Lung want to know? Feng Zhan asked with a smile. Could there be something else? Lung Ruoxue guessed. Yes, because there is a barrier outside Grief Remedy Forest that limits our movement. What I mean is that the members of the Phoenix clan who have advanced to divine beasts are unable to appear alone on the Ling Feng continent unless they have a master. Similarly, people outside are unable to come to the Phoenix nest. Even if someone passes through the barrier, they are unable to pass through Grief Remedy Forest safely. Miss Lung and the others are the only humans who have been able to come to the Phoenix nest for the past tens of thousands of years. Feng Zhan explained the reason to Lung Ruoxue. But you can't just assume that I'm your new master, can you? Doesn't the Phoenix clan exist in every world? Lung Ruoxue continued asking her doubts. I was exiled to this world with the mission of finding the new master of the Phoenix clan because the high priest said that the new master of the Phoenix clan would appear in the lower dimensions. Feng Zhan sighed. He had waited for so long before she finally arrived. But this new master seemed to be of strong character and was determined not to be moved by temptation. Since your high priest is so powerful, why didn't he predict that there would be a traitor in the Phoenix clan? Lung Ruoxue asked in puzzlement. She had never believed in prophecies, she only believed in herself. No prophecy can predict what is related to you or things beyond your authority, so the high priest was helpless. After all, the people involved in the war back then had extraordinary identities, Feng Zhan said simply. Even though he was not born yet, he knew a little about the war. You are limited by the barrier. What about the Dragon clan? Why can they go to the Ling Feng continent to capture someone? Lung Ruoxue was puzzled. Wasn't the Dragon clan exiled like the Phoenix clan? The Dragon clan is different from us. The barrier is much less restrictive on the Dragon Clan than on the Phoenix Clan, Feng Zhan said with some indignation. It was really too unfair. They were kept here and not allowed to leave just because they could spit fire, while the dragons could leave, even though there was a restriction on the time and number. Phoenix King, you said that I'm your new master, but I'm only a spiritual supremacy and weak now. I'm afraid. Lung Ruoxue hesitated. She didn't want the Phoenix King to have too much hope and treat her as their savior, so she decided to give him forewarning. Master, we're not in a hurry. We have waited for so long. Moreover, time is nothing to the Phoenix Clan, Feng Zhan consoled hurriedly. Of course, he knew that Lung Ruoxue definitely wouldn't be able to lead them in rebuilding their glory with her current strength. But they had plenty of time, so they could wait. That's good. Lung Ruoxue seemed to be at ease, but she couldn't help worrying in her heart. He already started calling her master even though she didn't seem to have agreed? Master, then let's choose a time to contract. Feng Zhan said impatiently. Okay. Lung Ruoxue felt like she was being forced into a corner. But she knew that contracting with the Phoenix Clan would be very beneficial for her, but nonetheless. Phoenix King, I don't want to contract with the entire Phoenix Clan, Lung Ruoxue said after some thought. Master, why is this so? Feng Zhan asked with a bitter face. Did some idiot from the Phoenix Clan offend her? He had already warned his clan that Lung Ruoxue was a distinguished guest, so they had to treat her well. I want some of the Phoenix Clan to contract with my subordinates. Lung Ruoxue revealed the plan that she had been brewing. Master, how about this? You contract the entire Phoenix Clan first. As for the contract beasts for your subordinates, they'll take care of it, Feng Zhan said after some thought. It was not that he disliked his master's subordinates, but he thought that it would cause some of the clan members to feel that their master despised them if she didn't contract with all of them. As the king of the Phoenix Clan, he naturally had to consider the interests of his own clan. Chapter 226, The Way to Bring Freak Back to Life, 3. Okay. Lung Ruoxue agreed readily. She also knew that beasts like dragons and phoenixes would not casually contract with humans, so she didn't want to make things difficult for Feng Zhan. After settling the matter with Feng Zhan, Lung Ruoxue returned to the wooden house. Inside the heaven and earth bracelet. Grandpa, did you hear what Feng Zhan just said to me? Lung Ruoxue asked the three old men in front of her. Oh, swear, so that's what the Phoenix King wants. That's fortunate. I was still worried that he would harm us. Lung Qingtian said with a sigh of relief. Little girl, your luck is really infuriating. Even the Phoenix Clan came knocking on your door to contract with you. Alas, why don't I have such good luck? Old man said with a sigh. Yes, even I am jealous of you. Lin Liang's tone might be complaining, but his expression was not the least bit that way. Instead, his face was full of joy, as if he had contracted with them himself. Swear, contracting the Phoenix Clan will be very beneficial for you now. But Grandpa is a little worried about the traitor of the Phoenix Clan, Lung Qingtian said worriedly. He didn't want his granddaughter to suffer any harm. Contracting with the Phoenix Clan had both pros and cons. He was afraid that the Phoenix Clan would become a time bomb. Grandpa, even without the Phoenix Clan, there are some things that I can't avoid, Lung Ruoxue said helplessly. The matter of the Phoenix Clan involved the Great War 100,000 years ago, and that war was obviously related to her master, so she couldn't avoid it at all. Instead of running away, it was better to start accumulating her strength now. Swear, what do you mean? Lung Qingtian was puzzled. Yes, Ruoxue. What do you mean? Lin Liang and Old Man were equally puzzled. I have to begin by explaining about my master. Lung Ruoxue explained everything in detail to Lung Qingtian and the others. After listening to her, the three of them fell silent. Swear, Grandpa will definitely help you no matter how formidable your future enemy is, Lung Qingtian said calmly with a serious face after a while. Swear's words were beyond his expectations. No wonder Swear has never taken the Su family seriously. The Su family is just a small fry compared to that enemy. Alas, it seems we've set our sights too low. Little girl, Even though my strength is limited, I am also very willing to help you as long as you are willing to accept me. Old man also expressed his attitude very seriously. Hee hee, how can I miss out on this kind of thing? Lin Liang chimed in as well, taking on the responsibility as well. Being together with young people really made him so energetic. It seemed like he had to cultivate harder in the future and not be outdone by this little girl. Lung Ruoxue looked at Old Man and Lin Liang, a little touched. She wasn't surprised that her grandfather said so, but she didn't expect these two to say the same. In fact, she could understand even if they didn't help. Little girl, don't look at me like that. I am too old and can't take it. Old Man said with an exaggerated expression on his face. You old fart. What nonsense are you saying? Lung Qingtian glared at him. Ruoxue, I have decided. I want to enter seclusion here and cultivate diligently, lest I become a burden later on. Lin Liang revealed his plan after thinking about it. I can't fall behind Brat Lin. I want to enter seclusion as well, Old Man hurriedly said. No. If both of you are in seclusion, what should Shuer say if someone asks? Lung Qingtian disagreed, directly denying their thoughts. Old Man, Grandpa Lin, wait for me to save Fengde and destroy the spiritual deities of the Su family before you enter seclusion. Lung Ruoxue said with a slight frown. Alright, time can accelerate here anyway, so a few more days won't hurt. Old Man and Lin Liang nodded. I'll send you out first. We've been here for a long time, Lung Ruoxue said to the three old men. Okay. After sending the three of them out of the heaven and earth bracelet, Lung Ruoxue entered the purple bamboo house. Freak, are you doing okay? Lung Ruoxue put the little silver mink aside and murmured to herself while staring at Freak's frozen body. I miss you so much, Lung Ruoxue said softly, choked up as tears rolled down her cheeks. Shuer, the little silver mink called softly. He wanted to jump into Lung Ruoxue's arms, but Shuer ignored him. Boo! The little silver mink hated Shuer for neglecting him. Boo-hoo. He was so jealous of the big ice block lying on the bed, even though he knew that his idea was ridiculous because it was actually him. But he really... Shuer, do you know how much I want to tell you that I am your freak? But, boo-hoo. He felt so inferior now, and he was even more unwilling to let Shuer know that he was now a little mink who couldn't even transform into a human. Shuer. The little silver mink calmed down and gently tugged on Lung Ruoxue's sleeve. What's wrong? Lung Ruoxue looked at the little mink with tears in her eyes, her face full of confusion. Shuer, don't cry. He isn't dead. The little silver mink comforted. Boo! Seeing Shuer's tears made him both happy and distressed. His mood was conflicted. What did you say? How do you know? The little mink's words exploded in Lung Ruoxue's ears like a bomb. Lung Ruoxue picked up the little silver mink in disbelief and raised him in front of her eyes to look directly into those incomparably beautiful blue eyes. He's not dead, the little silver mink repeated, but he was very nervous. Shuer wouldn't see anything, would she? How do you know? Lung Ruoxue asked anxiously, her heart racing. My inherited memories told me. Moreover, I know how to dispel the frosty palm's poison, the little silver mink suddenly said confidently. He was really too smart to think of such a reason. Tell me quickly, Lung Ruoxue said anxiously. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.